in a turtle shell. Welcome to the Condor DM show. Tonight I'm covering the tabletop role-playing game Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness. Oh, it's not going to be like the Gangbusters. Gangbusters, there was a limited amount of stuff to say, but when it comes to a Plendium game, and especially this one, oh my, so much to say, so much content here. It's going to be a packed time. So just a dice system we'll go over really quick. Like many, skills, percentage, D100, roll under, combat, very detailed here. It's one of the more popular combat systems in all of old school tabletop role-playing games, because it's one that it's survivable. It's really not old school in the sense of it's dangerous, but it's not as dangerous. You roll a D20, add your bonus against like a defense or a parry or something like that, where it's the other person rolls D20 against you. It feels very action-packed. There's multiple attacks, and the game Aftermath, in many ways, is built off the mutant side of this game. I don't want to say too much because I'm going to cover most of this, but it's not like the 1987 cartoon for the Ninja Turtles. Put that away. Think Mirage Comics. Go back to the more harsh view of the Turtles before the cartoon. That's what you're getting here. Black Rose, you're here. And Craig, of course. So we got Monkey, Black Rose, and Craig right away. Oh, this one's going to be a packed one. So much here. D6 is for rolling attributes, your 3D6, and then after that, it's mostly just for damage, right? But the combat system is one of the favorite ones. The mutation system for making mutants. Some people play this game where you'd almost forget it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like it's so tied to the mutant part that I'd see people sit down for like 2 hours making characters, just deciding off the point type of system. They had a sort of point buy system for making mutants. People would make mutants. I remember just seeing people play the game in a way where you're like, what game is that? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And be like, are you sure? None of the characters sound that way. And yeah, they use the word species. Oh, it really is. It really, really is, Monkey. You're 1,000,000% right. The game was so popular that the mutant part, because when they lost the license, sort of moved on from the game, the mutant part carried over. The martial arts is a very popular thing with the multiple melee attacks and all that for martial arts and fighting. And if you liked action, okay, this is action. Not dangerous like most old school games. This is action, survivable, kick-ass. Like in the mindset of the old school, what would kill most people wouldn't just kill one of these characters instantly. You could last and fight for a while. There's so much here. So much. To the point where the combat system is great, but it can be very layered. And some people found that a bit too much, especially old school guys that were used to, if you're used to tighter combat, you could think this is overkill. This is your superhero. I created a program in high school when I was in data processing, could roll up TMT character super quick, and the coding took me forever. The part where I get what you're saying, but it's almost like this game was more for people that wanted to make characters. Like if I said, here's an auto thing for this game, most players be like, no, dude, I got it. You're like, why? Because actually creating a character, and I know you know this, Monkey. I know that's why you like the game. Creating a character in this game was something people got addicted to. Again, I've seen people sit down for like 2 hours just making up characters. Like, I wonder what I'm going to use, mixing the species. Yeah, they use the word species because we're using animals and mutations and but there's so much meat on the bone here because it is about the comic books and the sort of dark, harsh side of that, right? I'll say this. I don't want to say too much because I'm going to say most of this. Like most everything is going to be said again. Would I say this is a copy of the sort of Daredevil view? No, no, no. Would I say it's influenced by the Daredevil stuff? Yes, you can't deny that, but it becomes its own thing. Really does. Genuinely, it does become its own thing, but it is influenced, you can't deny it, by the Daredevil comics and his sort of gimmick, right? So, yeah, definitely influence there, but it really becomes its own thing. Again, forget the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When I first got introduced, when I first seen people messing with this game, I was like, what game is this? You're making mutants and sounds wild. But what was described to me wasn't like what you would think Ninja Turtles. I didn't even hear about that right away. I finally had to see the name of the book. I'm like, oh, it's about the Ninja Turtles. It must be like comedy. The guy's like, no. I'm like, because I never got introduced to it until I was in the 90s, right? So I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, this is before the cartoon, Steven. I'm like, oh, because I had an old book from the original stuff that was really dark. It was and I said, is it more like that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Oh, the strongest. Very strong, very, it's ahead of its time as far as really, really strong combat, right? It is, and it is action based. But again, when you got old school people that get used to actually weirdly tighter combat, it could seem a little really complicated to some people. Some people I noticed just like, that's a bit too much for me. They like combat to be simple, right? And I was like, well, yeah, but if you like action, how can you deny this? Like, this is something you want to pay attention to, right? Well, I know you're saying strongness. I thought you were being funny. Yeah, the strangeness part has to do more with the comic books. So that's where you like that's sort of the idea. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the strangeness, which is comic books, but the mutations. And again, some of these ideas became sort of so separate from the concept of the Ninja Turtles that you get this carryover with the game Aftermath, right? Which I talked about a little bit about this mutation system in that game when I covered that game. But here it's just so much. Like Game Busters, there's only so much to really say overall about it when you're describing stuff, and so much plays into the like similar stuff. So it felt like, I have to sort of repeat sort of points to make points about things. Here, there's so much meat on the bone. So much that will be here for a bit. Like I'll be talking about this game for a little while, just a little while, right? But yeah, I liked it personally. I did because I'm someone who likes everything. I'm the D&D guy who likes Traveler. But then when you talk to Traveler people, they'll see like everybody sort of sees themselves in their own camps. Like if you like the way Traveler played out, you didn't like D&D people. Right? If you like Millennium, you didn't like D&D people. You probably didn't even like Traveler people. See, what was weird about me is I like Millennium. I like D&D. I like Traveler. Right? I like Rollmaster. I like it. Oh, I like Call of Cthulhu, even if I think there's limited play there. I like Pendragon. I like odd gems like Castle Funkenstein. Never knew what kind of animal you would randomly end up with. Yeah, the random bit was cool. The point buy thing to jack up who the character was or the elements about the character. That's really what people got into, because if you were into it and you knew the game well, you sort of had an idea, like you want to try this, because what you realize after your first playthrough is, oh my, so much can be done with the game. And to a degree, so many people did so many different things that at one point you sort of forget, hey, this is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, because everybody's doing everything but that, right? They're just taking a completely different approach to the game. The system itself, outside of that license, became something I just noticed people using. And again, it's so popular, the concepts, they carried over to Aftermath. That was to continue using the stuff because it's like, it's too popular with people. This is not an idea people are just dropping, right? And it sold. It actually worked in Aftermath. Like the idea still, people still like you could do a apocalyptic survival type of game with it, right? You could. The combat was so new that people that wanted action for so long, if you were looking for action in old school, this was it. If you were looking for your superhero guy who could last for a while and fight, this is the game. This is the game. I'm going to say this sort of separate from my coverage. I just noticed this. So you guys know about a guy named the Quartering. And you also know about people that do reaction videos, right? So people covering the Quartering drama and reaction videos, you want to know, I'm going to quickly just sort of put this to the end here because I just feel like I got to say it. I got to say it. I'm going to start calling them bottom feeders. Like, I don't hate the people that are covering the Quartering, but it's like, I'm going to start covering it and calling them all bottom feeders. Same thing with reaction people. Like, I'm sorry, I like watching YouTubers that are specifically talented and like I like the Fleet guy. Go watch him. He's doing video games, being comedic. Doesn't do drama, doesn't react, doesn't do reaction videos. Guy has pure fucking talent. I love to listen to him. If I go listen to people covering the Quartering, you could just take a list of people. They're all growing because, yeah, you can grow up the drama content, but I call them bottom feeders right away because I'm like, take away the drama. Say something interesting. Nothing. No fucking talent. Can't hold up a fucking YouTube channel if you paid them. I'm like, it just, no, sorry, not interested in you, dude. If you cover all the drama all day long, boring. And I sort of had an idea that when I seen that drama guy years ago, I said, man, people don't like him, but you can say what you want. He gets a reaction. And I even said it. And one time I was talking to people, I said, you're probably going to see more people do what he's doing. That's probably going to become a regular thing. I had no fucking clue. And if you look at the channels covering the Quartering, it's just all their content is just talking shit about other people on the fucking internet. I'm just like, all right, let me take that away from you. Do you got something entertaining? No. Would your channel be where it is if you had to do other content that was entertaining? No. What about the reaction people? If I take away the anime show from you, what do you got? Or wrestling. Take that away from it. What do you got? Do you got anything? So I'm very proud of my work because, like I say, I came here, I talk about games. I don't do the cheap stuff. And I might be slower building up, but every fucking bit of support I get is purely from me talking, being interesting, and putting my own effort into what I do. I don't use other people. I don't use other people's content. Nothing like that. I talk about my own experiences. That's all. Not a bottom feeder. Talent, charisma. That's all I run on. Pure fucking run on. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I won't say no more about those people, but bottom feeders is what I call the whole. That's from now on. That's all they are to me. Just a whole list of fucking people on the Quartering thing. I'm like, whatever. I know he has his issues, but I got nothing to say bad about him. I don't care. Fuck. His issues aren't enough for me to care about. It's like not affecting my life. Oh, he went and issued out something to some YouTube channel. I get reported every day by fucking other YouTubers and shit like this. False reports. I lost channels because of false reports from people. So somebody might have lost some content because they talk shit about him. I lost channels from not talking shit about anybody. Had videos taken down that were reported. We're talking shit about anybody. Right? Like, yeah, all false reporting. So I've had shit done to me. I've lost YouTube channels over people reporting me that are most likely well known around the tabletop role-playing game community. So, and I don't say names even after they did it. I still don't say names. Right? Because I don't bother playing that game, but it's like, yeah, all bullshit. Hey, Drift. This is going to be a good one, my friend. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a fun. Like Monkey said, it's a great gem. I do like it. I just didn't spend as much time in it. But when I did like the mutation part. Oh, RPG. Yeah. He's probably another one. A few of them build up off that, but I'm like, you take that drama away, and I'm like, here, what do you got? How far would you be? And even when some of them will do some credible content, it's still based on an audience they built up from bullshit. I'm like, what if you had to start there? And that's all the content you did was based on your talent and charisma. Without the shit, would you be anywhere? I'd say even given that I've been holding down, this is my fourth channel, they wouldn't be as far as I'm at if that's all they did. Right? That's why, like, look, you get to see, here's what you see when somebody doesn't do that shit, when they don't play the cheap game. You see me. And I'd probably have a bigger channel if it wasn't my fourth YouTube channel, if I didn't get reported and lost 3 channels beforehand. So it's like, here's what you get when you don't play the cheap game, right? I think some of the guys out there would have much smaller YouTube channels if they didn't play the cheap game. Like, talk shit about other people. It's just like, come on. Shit, I even leave WotC alone for the most part. I didn't even bother that game. Like, to me, the only time I'll talk about that stuff is in the past has been reaction, or if I really find it interesting and there's something where it's more interesting than me bringing something up for drama, like talking about WotC, talking about anything to do with the hobby. I don't do it repeatedly. And sometimes, if you guys notice, I'll get content that will get a really good reaction. And it's not like the most fantastical, talented content. But you notice I don't just do 10 of those videos afterwards. Because I never did it for that intent to begin with, right? So I build myself up just putting myself out here. So when you do the hard grind that I do, and you're putting yourself as the fucking centerpiece, and you don't use all these cheap gimmicks, you get quite proud of your work. But you do have to watch people that are less talented than you fucking like this on YouTube. And this is where I said sometimes you get a lot of donkeys out there that think they're lions because they get a lot of attention. I put that image up on my post saying, but I really mean it. It's like you get these donkeys that get a lot of attention, then they think they're lions, right? And that's what I call them, like bottom feeders and donkeys. It's like, geez, if I take this drama away from you, where would you be as a YouTuber? Not too far. Or the guys that do one fucking thing. And they get boring after a while. But yeah. Just had to say that because I seen all the cries. I just went through 5 videos on the quartering thing. I was like, yeah, same person you would expect. Next same person you would expect. Next same person. Reaction videos too. I'll go look for something to do with My Academia Hero thing. I like that show. I watch it right to the end. A lot of people have, so it's not like it's a well-known show. I got to search some stuff on it, and right away, boom. That's what some people say. But yeah, I don't bother. It's just, to me, it's all they do is bring that stuff up. And that's exactly what they do. What the fuck? Ugh. Bores me. It bores me. It's boring. And if you ignore them, you find out they're in the fuck. Most of them are in an echo chamber. I notice I would have just said to some of the guys being attacked, just don't reply to any of these guys. They're fine. Oh, he's fine. He's completely fine. He'll get rid of his Twitter. He'll overreact, but he's stupid for overreacting. I'm like, dude, just stop. Because I went, after all the drama, I go to his channel and I notice he's putting out videos and they're still getting like thousands of likes, thousands of views. I'm just like, just breathe. Breathe, dude. Stop your shit, but breathe. The people that are attacking you are fucking like an echo chamber. If you give them no breath, they'll do the drama on you for about maybe a week and they're gone. It's actually, I think the guys attacking quartering are more pathetic bottom feeders than quartering. I think they're more pathetic. They have no talent. So when you say they're getting it bad, I'm like, getting it bad from trash? Who cares if you're getting it bad from trash? Fuck trash. That's what I say, Drift. Fuck the trash. Because they're even lower scum than he is. That's what I say about them. Right? So if you think the quartering's bad, go look at the trash fucking bottom feeding fucks that are attacking him. No talent, no charisma, no nothing. Wouldn't even have a fucking YouTube following if they weren't attacking guys like him. Would have nothing. That's what I say about them. So fuck that trash. But is he an idiot? Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. He plays into it too, so he's as guilty as they are. And I'm pretty sure if it was another YouTuber, he'd be making videos. So fuck him too. Fuck the whole lot of them. Not just him, though. The whole lot of them. I like guys that are on here with talent. That's why I watch Fleek. Like, if you notice when I share videos, it's not from guys that are covering drama that have no talent. It's from people with talent. That's who I watch on YouTube. That's it. I focus on talented people, period. Because it's like, look, you're a dime a dozen if you're attacking the quartering. There's just how many of them. Just go right now. Do a search, Drift. Do a search on YouTube for attacks on quartering. And you're just going to see a list of fucking names that's all they fucking do. And it's the same fucking list of guys. I'm like, all right, take your drama away with the quartering. What do you got? I say they can't even have 1,000 subs if they had to just talk to you and be talented. Like, do you got talent or skill? Do you got anything to offer? Nah. Fucking shit. Tapeworm vessel. Yeah, Craig, you're right. Oh, I don't even know if I would even say he has talent most of the time. At least he's just covering certain shit. But just, dude, stop reacting to them. That's what you want to know. What my stupid thing was reacting to some people in the past. The second I stop, I realize they're an echo chamber. It's like, oh yeah, you have about 10,000 in an echo chamber, right? Was a mutant goat named Rogue Milk Cheese. His brother was Katana Milk Cheese. I like that. Our longest campaign was against Freddy the Clone Master. Villains are important. Just when he thought he won, he would come back. I was like sort of like the Storm NPC I had for the Storm Wars. His history as an NPC is he would, and it was ironic. I never planned it out that way. Some DMs would push things cheaply. I had this guy NPC who originally was a friend's NPC. We faced him. He gets away, but he gets away in a legit way. And then he agreed to let me use him as an NPC for a follow-up campaign because it was in the same room. I use him, and I'm not joking. They're about to kill him, and he said, look, if he dies, he dies. Like, don't fucking worry about it. Did the roll, didn't die. Tried it again with a new small little short run. Didn't die. I'm like, this fucking cunt just keeps getting away, and he's become famous for it to the point where even some of the players are going, are you doing that on purpose? I'm like, no, I just show them. They're like, holy fuck. And he's even doing shorts from other people's videos now, even without crediting them. Writing links, always like the guy, but that's a new low. Yeah. Some guys do that. It's you see something. See, this is where people got mad at me. But really quick before I get into it, the inauthentic content thing. I was so happy to see that because when you look at all the guys complaining, you go over to the YouTube channel, it's like, yeah, I think YouTube got this right for most of you, like 99% of you, right? I get it where some people with the political stuff get tagged in ways that I don't know. It is what it is, right? But outside of them, like 99% of the fucking inauthentic accounts where you're reading it and you're like going, yeah, that guy gets by with a fucking bait channel with no talent. The other thing was a bunch of these YouTubers had things like, you would notice 760,000 subs. That's how many people they have. But then there'd be like fucking 30 channels with that where you're realizing they're getting probably sub to with these bot farms or whatever they call them, where they take the phone thing out, the piece from the phone, they make the computers up and they do these little warehouses of these phones and they go sub to your fucking account with like hundreds of thousands of fucking subs to your account. Just build it up in a fake way. And then you go, and how you sort of know, you go check out their views or their likes. It's like 2,000 views, 29 likes, 780,000. Then you think that might be the only guy. You go to the next account, video, about 1,000 or 2,000 watches, 20 likes. I'm like, yeah, fuck off. More bottom feeders. So when they go after people, I don't take all that serious. Corder should have just ignored him. He was stupid. Dumbass. I am. You're getting ready to start, but I gotta shut something down. And I want to know what I told really quick before I step in. The guy said I'm super strict as a game master because I said I don't put up with certain things. Like, it's I give the whole base rundown on how you do old school game mastering, and it's really basic shit. Like you show up and you pay attention. You know what I mean? If you're gonna fucking be lazy at the table, you're going to go away. If you're going to ask a question, I give you an answer, and then you keep arguing. If that's going to be a habit, you got to go away, right? Because I expect I'm running the game for adults, so I do that rundown. And one of the guys in there's like, "That's super strict." I'm like, for an old school player, that's common sense, but for some guys, that's super strict. Okay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness influence and birth of the game. The core creator and foundation, published by Plenum Books in 1985. Designed, written by Eric Wujcik, based on the comic created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. The game full title, like well you already know, Other Strangeness. It was based on the original Mirage Studios black and white TMNT comics, not the later kid-friendly cartoon version. The comic first appeared in 1984, and Plenum released the RPG the following year. Primary influence, the original TMNT comic, so not the cartoon. A lot of people assume the cartoon when they hear about this game. The biggest influence is the early Eastman and Laird comic. That means the RPG is closer to underground comics, parody comics, gritty street level action, martial arts weirdness, superhero satire, mutant oddball science fiction. Again, not the later Saturday morning cartoon tone. This matters because the original TMNT was stranger, darker, rougher, and more violent than people remember. It really, really was. Like if you actually checked out the old comic, you'd be like, wow, that's not what I was expecting. No. The RPG comes from that earlier version of the Turtles. The comic itself was a parody. TMNT started partly as a parody of popular comic trends of the time. It was poking at things like ninjas, Grim Street vigilantes, mutant heroes, superhero teams, martial arts comics. You can especially feel the era of Daredevil style urban ninja stories, X-Men style mutants, gritty black and white indie comics, over the top 1980s action. Oh, yeah, for real. You don't expect it when you're thinking of these guys because just so many people. If I mention this to them and they haven't tried the game or even know what the original comic, everybody thinks of the cartoon. They really, really do. Like the cartoon is famous. There's no doubt. And you can tell its influence just by you mention this or even mention the comics. And they're like, oh, the comic's funny too? Well, then you don't know. Then you don't know, right? So the RPG inherits that weird mix. Serious action, but also absurd on purpose. Mutant Turtles trained as ninjas is ridiculous, but the game treats that ridiculous idea seriously enough to make it playable. That is the charm. And the people that played this treat it serious. And you, again, outside of the Turtles, the whole mutant aspect, man, people took this fucking dead serious. Way more serious, I think, than even the company understood, right? Plenum's design influence. Plenum already had its own host style. So TMNT and Other Strangeness was not built as a light cartoon game. And the turtles back then all had dark bandanas over their eyes. Yep. They were only distinguished with different colors because of the franchise selling action figures and toys. It's so good. Actually, ironically, even though it's a parody, I even like the comic. I'll be real with you. Like I actually like the comic. I like the serious tone of it, even though it is parody, right? So it used Palladium's more detailed style, attributes, skills, combat rules, hand-to-hand fighting, character options, mutant animal creation. The game is crunchy compared to what some people might expect from a Ninja Turtles game. This is not just pick a turtle and fight bad guys. It's more like build a mutant animal character with specific mutations. As you're hearing, guys, give examples in the chat. So build a mutant animal character with specific mutations, skills, combat training, background, and personality. That is the major reason old school players remembered. It is the mutant part is the major thing. TMNT Comics started a year after Stan Sakow's UC Ujibo. Sorry for the lack of pronunciation. A samurai rabbit, but I do know what you're talking about. And that was actually, it looked pretty cool. Back when art was fucking neat and good. Who later appeared in TMT. Yes. I was surprised at how good some old art is compared to some of the new shit they're putting out today. It's like, we've gone backwards. I have a great post on X, or a repost. And it's a guy who he took, I think it's like around 2026 or 2025, like an image of one of the new Ninja Turtle cartoon things. And he takes an image from the old cartoon thing. And it's like, the old cartoon looks fucking awesome. The new thing looks like it's a fucking disgraced de-evolution of art. Like, what the fuck is this crap? Complete trash. The big design hook. Make your own mutant animal. This is the heart of the game. It really is in many ways, outside of combat. The RPG did not just let players play for turtles. It let them create their own mutant animals. This was huge. Players could make mutant dogs, mutant cats, mutant bears, mutant birds, mutant reptiles, mutant rodents, mutant insects. Strange custom animal heroes. Some weird notes I give myself sometimes. I leave some of them in because I'm getting used to reading this stuff so I don't accidentally just... Or the game leaned hard into other strangeness. Part of the title. That made it more than a licensed RPG. It became a mutant animal superhero toolkit. I put in little note, pretty much let you rape animals. Can't say too much of my notes on here. I put in too much raunchy shit when I'm putting notes in. Why it stood out in 1985. In the mid-1980s, a lot of RPGs were still dominated by fantasy adventuring, sci-fi exploration, some of the games you're hearing about on here that I've covered, superheroes, as you know, I've covered quite a few of them so far, horror, post-apocalyptic games, actually one built off this, Aftermath, TMNT, and other strangers hit a strange middle ground. It was superhero adjacent, martial arts focused, street level. Comedic at times, not like the cartoon, violent at times, as we've been talking about, science fiction mutant weirdness that made it feel different from normal fantasy RPGs and different from standard superhero RPGs, like Heroes Unlimited. You were not just playing Superman type heroes, you were playing weird mutant animals, fighting street criminals, ninjas, mad scientists, and bizarre threats. I think probably one of the monkey villain earlier was probably something close to a, I don't know, monkey, was it a mad scientist? You could tell me. The Eastman and Laird art connection. The original book included art by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, with Eastman also credited for the cover art that helped connect the RPG directly to Mirage comic identity instead of making it feel like a detached licensed product. That matters because old school fans often care whether licensed RPGs feel authentic. This one did, and that's exactly what everyone says. The book looked and felt tied to the original comics. Birth before Turtlemania. The RPG came out in 1985. The famous animated TMNT cartoon did not launch until 1987. So the RPG was born before the massive kid cartoon. Turtlemania Explosion. That means the RPG belongs to the early TMNT era. Black and white comics, indie comic energy, darker tone, stranger humor, less sanitized brand identity. This is why the old Millennium TMNT game feels different from what many casual fans expect. Actually, I found the movie to be more inspired by this stuff, like the original Turtles, more than it was anything like the cartoon, even though the colors and some of the aspects from the cartoon definitely carried over to that original movie. They definitely took a lot of inspiration from the original stuff. Freddy was a serial killer. I knew the mad scientist would come into that. Makes me want to play Blue Rabbit from Another Day. Monkey, as soon as you said the name, I was thinking mad scientist. I knew that's what it was going to be. Serial killer, fair enough. He's a bad guy. What do you expect, right? Link to the After the Bomb. I say aftermath. I should have said after the bomb. One of the major things that grew out of the game was After the Bomb. Plendium released After the Bomb in 1986, an alternate post-apocalyptic setting for TMNT and other strangeness. I should have said After the Bomb. I've been saying Aftermath. What am I saying? And it later developed into its own capable game line that shows how strong Mutant Animal Creation engine was. It was not limited to sewer ninjas. It could support post-apocalyptic mutant animals. Well, I don't plan on saying certain things just off the top. I'll say, because I covered Aftermath too, which is more Rollmaster. What am I saying? Crazy. But yes, After the Bomb. So it could support post-apocalyptic mutant animals, survival setting, strange societies, animal nations, science fiction campaigns that gave the game life beyond just play in TMNT world. Why it became remembered? TMNT and Other Strangers became remembered because it did something very specific and very fun. It took a bizarre comic premise and gave players tools to build their own weird mutant heroes. Not just play Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, or Raphael, but make your own mutant animal and throw them into a strange, violent comic book world. Why are old school players still talk about it? It was licensed, yes, but it also had a real game identity. Now that's the opening. I don't want to just jump straight into craziness yet. Just want to check something really quick, my friends. I hope we're going to enjoy this. I get so much to do on this one that I'm just like taking a peekaboo at a note. Oot. Sorry, checking something. Want to verify. That was too recent. Ooh. Just want to verify that I'm not completely going crazy on something. Okay. Okay, I got the script for it. I guess we'll just have to do that one after. Yes, I thought I already covered. We start easy to get lost on this one, I can imagine. No, 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 not lost at all. Sorry, guys, for a little delay there. Ugh. Sometimes I forget what I've actually covered and what I have or what I haven't. But yes, I got the aftermath. I definitely got this one, but it is the After the Bomb is way different than this one, and it is actually lined up to come out afterwards. But yes, so you get mixed up on what exactly you got covered. But there is the mutant thing with this one. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't going fucking crazy. So did the aftermath. I just haven't totally gotten to this one yet. I thought I already fucking covered it, but you never know. I got so many games to cover. So there, just verifying how to run it. You know what this is? This is Game Master advice. Then you guys know the deal. Character creation. What makes it better? Then criticism, worth mentioning, and then we'll pretty much finish it off from there. So how to run it. This is where it gets really meaty. The biggest thing to understand when running Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other strangers, this is not just a play the cartoon. The game works best when it leans into weirdness, mutant creativity, martial arts actions, street level adventures, comic book chaos, strange science fiction. The title matters. Other strangeness. The game is built for bizarre mutant stories. So you just got to. It's. I open with that because that's what you got to keep in mind when you're going in. Decide the tone early. One of the biggest challenges with TMNT campaign's tone, the setting can swing between goofy mutant comedy, gritty comic violence, martial arts action, science fiction weirdness, superhero style adventures. You need to decide early, how serious is the campaign? That's important, really, because you can do extremely serious. A lot of people do really extremely serious, or you can do these other types, right? So how serious is the campaign? Because the original comic tone is very different from the later cartoon, as we talked about. A campaign inspired by Mirage Comics feels very different from pizza jokes, slapstick, cartoon villains. Both approaches can work as Monkey. Well, there's a serious thing, there's a serial killer thing he adds in there. But like the mad scientist, the goofy names, you could do the goofy if you want. Both approaches can work, but the group should know which style you are running. Because it's going to influence your players. Like I've seen guys get ready to run a serious thing, but you can just tell with the way they pitch it to their players start playing the game in a very alternative way. You can just tell the guys like, wow, this is very serious. And he has to not adjust, but he has to talk to the players. They have to figure out the tone. They're making fun of stuff. And if you're going to have it be goofy in a way, you've got to play to that as a game master. If you're trying to be serious, goofy play can obviously fuck the feel and experience up for the game. Very important. I just seen it break down so many times where guys have to have talks. Mutant creation is a huge part of the fun. Mutant animal system is one of the game's biggest strengths. Let players get creative. You want that. Encourage strange animal choices, weird backgrounds, odd personalities, unusual mutant combinations. A lot of the game's identity comes from players building bizarre mutant characters and making them feel believable inside the world. Martial arts should matter. Combat should feel mobile, aggressive, cinematic, comic book style. This is not usually a game about standing still, trading blows, slow tactical positioning. Ninjas, mutants, martial artists, and street fighters should feel active and dangerous. Movement and style matters to the atmosphere. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say is you don't want to just get into the point where you got a guy standing there and he's trying to do this. You want to detail out your actions. You want your players detailing out their actions. You want to paint that up so you want to describe the action. That's the best way I could put it. You want to describe action. You want players to be trying things with their multiple melee attacks. You want that going on. And you want to use all the options from the parry to the dodge, and use it without getting too repetitive, but use it where you're mixing it up, right? Like just do it. And it's going to feel like a back and forth because you're rolling a d20 and the other person's rolling a d20. So it's back and forth. You don't want it to feel like a D&D game where it's like you swing, he swing. No. You don't want that. So movement and style matters to the atmosphere. You want to describe that, play that to the imagination, and you want to push, push, push. Don't just sit there as a game master and, okay, you attack. All right, you hit, do the damage. That will kill the game. The streets matter. TMNT campaigns work very well at street level. Good locations include alleyways, rooftops, sewers, warehouses, abandoned buildings, arcades, underground labs, city streets. The urban environment helps reinforce the comic book atmosphere. That's somewhat true, but you can use, it depends on what you're doing, like the outskirts of places, like a forest area, stuff like that, a park, right? You can also add that. You can do all kinds of things that are a little on the outskirts, like going down to the docks and fighting, stuff like that. So some of that old city stuff we talked about with Gangbusters, this is true here too. But if you're actually looking at what the designers say arcades, underground labs, they want it to feel like the comic book related to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's true. It is to get a certain feel. The city should feel dangerous, strange, alive. Weird science is important. Mutations, experiments, strange technology, bizarre science fiction concepts are core parts of the setting. Good campaigns often involve illegal experiments, mutagen, hidden laboratories, strange organizations, mutant animals, criminal tech operations. The game becomes weaker if the strangeness disappears. That's true. So you want everything to feel weird and fucked up. And that's on purpose. So if you don't put this stuff in, if you go like, here's just a gangster you're dealing with, and then you're dealing with this gang over here, you don't want to turn it into more realism. You want to go a little mix of realism, but a lot of weird fucking shit going on. You want weird science. You want strange organizations, not your typical. So you want some mystery in there. You want like the hidden laboratories or illegal experiments going on. So you find a guy who his arm is too big. You're like, he's coming out of this place. Like his arm is way big. And you're explaining that to players because you want the weirdness to play out in the game. And normal humans are going to be weak compared to the mutants. So you always want to have a reason why a guy is fucked up, but maybe strong or maybe screwed up in other ways. Factions work well, very well. The setting naturally supports ninja clans, criminal gangs, scientists, corporations, mutant groups, vigilantes. That gives the game master a lot of recurring enemies and allies to work with. Good campaigns often involve multiple groups competing or colliding at once. So sometimes it can work in the player's favor, right? Where it's like, okay, you're dealing with a group, but they got a problem with another group anyway. So they're having issues, and that's what can draw them out, even if they're dangerous to you. So sometimes it could be that there's two groups competing, criminals competing. And so that creates opportunities for a game master. What you're doing is creating opportunities for the players, right? You're going to get players that aren't going to be that thoughtful or creative, let's be honest. So how you do it is you create opportunities through these competitions, through guys fucking each other over. That draws people out. You get to do some weird stuff. Keep the pace moving. Campaigns usually work best when they keep momentum. Good sessions often include chases, ambushes, investigations, break-ins, martial art fights. So old school would be like you can go over a few sessions avoiding combat. This is one of the rare games where I'd say a percentage of every session that you're going to play this should include combat. I usually don't say that about other games. This one is an exception. So martial arts fights, escapes, strange discoveries. So you always want weird shit happening, like something blows up. Or you hear about a criminal and there's something weird going on with the criminal. Like there's reports, there's something happening. So if you've ever read the comics, you'll know what I mean. It's constant weird shit buzzing over the radar where they're going to hear about it, they're going to run into it, they're going to encounter it. And you could send them, you can go over the mutants for like minor reasons. You got to go buy this, or you got to go find this item, or do this thing. Next thing you know, they're running into a new mutant or a new strange thing, or some weird occurrence happens. Of course, you want it to be real. The game benefits from energy and movement. Game gets really boring if it stands still. Humor helps, but do not let it destroy the world. That's one of the best pieces of advice. Don't get too funky. Think about funny in a serious setting. I've talked about it before. Absolutely, TMNT absolutely contains humor and absurdity. But if everything becomes a joke, the setting can lose tension quickly. That's why you want to threat, like, even if you have some guy that seems a little crazy, he has to be brutally crazy. It's like Monkey has the serial killer mad scientist. Not just a mad scientist, but a guy who's has a creepy side. Goes around killing people, serial killer. You want a sort of edge to everything, even besides the ridiculous. You're mixing ridiculous with a bit of real dark. Right? So think about it that way. You want to make sure that's applied to what you're doing when you're thinking putting the game together. The strongest campaigns usually balance humor, danger, weirdness, action. The player should still feel their enemies are dangerous. That's what I'm saying. Characters should feel different. One important thing, players should not all feel like identical Ninja Turtles with different colors. See, you definitely want people to not be, because there's some people that will make up teams, right? You do get some people that are a little corny. Tell people, don't do the same mutants. Don't just do like, that type of thing. Different characters should have animals, fighting styles, personalities, skill focuses, and backgrounds. The game becomes stronger when the group feels varied and strange. It's like, why would these guys even be together? Villains matter a lot. Strong villains help carry these campaigns. Good enemies include mutant criminals, ninja assassins, corrupt corporations, mad serial killer mad scientists, street gangs, dangerous martial artists, strange creatures. The setting supports reoccurring villains very naturally, similar to comic book storytelling. The game works best when you embrace the premise. One of the biggest mistakes a game master can make, trying to make the setting completely realistic. Don't do that. The game is about mutant martial art animals fighting crime and surviving inside of a strange comic book world. The weirder parts of the premise are part of the fun. Lean into them instead of apologizing for them. I'm giving you advice that when I say advice for a game like this is not about giving advice with mechanics. Mechanics are too easy. I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly here's what you do with the mechanics. It'd be boring advice. All this is telling you to keep stuff the way it is. It sounds like common sense, but trust me, go have a game master sit down and start putting this together. They don't think of a lot of this. Not everything just comes across to them. And not everything from the book pours into people's heads. So you got to remind people. And when you get players, you can get players that will come up with some weird ideas. I'll be like, are you guys sure you want to all do like something similar? A lot of players do. They actually think of the premise and they'll actually go with that. Or they'll come up with such similar ideas like, you guys all want to be this? Don't be too samey. Okay. See, when I talk about old school games, other ones are interesting where it's like Bushido is unique because it's different than what most people understand. With this one, it's hard to give good advice on an action game. This is where I say these are more simple. So giving you advice on where to set a campaign, the villain part, why it's so important, making sure it's all accurate, the places they want you to go, different places they want you to set up scenes. These are more simplistic action games. What am I supposed to say, right? They're not looking for creative campaigns in other ways. So I'd be lying to you if I gave you something more technical than this for ideas. If you said, man, those ideas are pretty straightforward. Yeah, they are, but it's a straightforward game. It's a lot of meat to it. There's a lot to say. So character creation. Character creation in this game is one of the main reasons the game became remembered. The game does not just hand you the 4 Ninja Turtles. I would say that After the Bomb game is a lot more interesting than this in certain ways for how you put it together. But we'll go with this. Instead of give players tools to create their own mutant animals, instead it gives players, so Bebop RPG in that sense, it really is. Monkey's played it. Everything I'm saying here, it would make sense to him. I guarantee it. Anyone who's played this game, they'll be like nodding their head like, yeah, there's only so much you can really put out here for certain advice for the game master. The game master just has to care about these things. Like, why do they matter? I'll see game masters go in for tone. So when I'm telling a game master, make sure the players know the tone, like if you're being funny or if you're being serious, because game masters will have it in their minds. Like they think their pitch is going to tell the player that they want something serious, but they're going to play to the ridiculous, so they'll let their players make something ridiculous up, but they're expecting the players to sort of know that they're looking for something serious in the game. They start, and the players start being a bit too funny. The problem with players is when you say revert, they can get sour, because what happens to players once they go into a game with an idea in their head? They made their character to be funny. So here you got players that haven't taken in the tone that well. They make their characters to be funny. Now you're telling them to be serious, right? And you want to make sure you're communicating before character creation. This is more serious, or you're leaning a bit more into the funny, or it's a loose game where it's not a big issue. You don't care if it's a little funny, but you'll just apply the serious as you want. It's either middle, serious, or straight absurd on purpose. Like, you want to be absurd on purpose, right? You want to have the bad guy with the fucking little brain thing in his body and just be completely absurd in the game you're creating. Tell the players, because the players have to know that before they make their characters. And it sounds like a small thing, but the error happens often. So is it good advice when you see it consistently happen? It is. It really is. If you see enough people try the game, you realize right away it's a small thing, but it's a small thing people don't do, right? And then just reminding people where they can use all the places. It's like, remember the comic book. The sewers are an advantage if you want to use them, but you can forget those. Alleyways, areas where you can fight outside of being seen by the cops, right? That's the suggestions. If you really think about all the advice, it's how do you avoid social pressure while creating action? Because what do we see with the Gangbusters game? If you're shooting out in public, it gets the public freaked out, right? How can you just blow that off? And people seeing mutants fight everywhere. How can you just blow that off? So all the places I mentioned, if you actually listen to them, they're all places where your identity as a mutant is somewhat hidden from the public. Like in alleyways to fight, in labs, in places where you're not going to be seen. That's why those suggestions are actually really good. Fighting out at the park or outside of the city skirts, right? Or down at the dock. You can still be seen, but there's a better chance still you're not seen so easily by people, right? Especially late at night, or depends on where you are. But you want to go places where the game, and that was game master advice. It's taking your players into locations where their characters aren't going to be seen so much, because your players are not going to consider small things like public opinion. Like, they just won't. If you put them in a place where it's in the middle of a mall, like you have them go near a mall, I mean, your players get like, yeah, I walk out like, dude, you're a fucking mutant. There's people here. So you got to sort of remind your players too, hey, you're still mutants. The turtles, when they would come and do justice, what would they do? What's one of the opening scenes of the movie? Blast the smoke down so they can't be seen by the reporter. Because the idea is to show up, not be seen, go away. right? Because they're still mutants. They're still aliens to people. So you got to think of your characters that way. That's why the advice to fight in alleyways and stuff like that is to keep your characters out from human eyes, right? So, and then to make criminal organizations that, I mean, who are they going to tell? They're a criminal gang or a serial killer mad scientist who's already messing with stuff. He's going to see you and want to mess around, not go to the cops, not go to a fucking reporter. Though you could play that. You could say there's some guy out there trying to trying to out you. Fair enough, right? Stuff like that could happen. But that advice is good overall. Like, it's good overall, like really good overall, because yeah, some DMs or game masters. So where are you going to have your action take place? You can see blanks come up right away. And so you have to make sure they understand too. Like the game master think your player characters can't be seen everywhere. And then you want players to think this stuff too, right? So back to the character creation. So the game does not just hand you the 4 Ninja Turtles. Instead, it gives players tools to create their own mutant animals, martial artists, vigilantes, street-level heroes, strange comic book characters. This is where the game's identity really shines. Mutant animal creation is the main hook. The centerpiece of character creation is mutant animal generation. Players can create dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, rodents, bears, rabbits, insects, almost anything animal-based. The animal chosen affects physical abilities, movement, appearance, natural advantages, role-playing flavor. This is not just cosmetic. The animal choice genuinely shapes the character. Now, Bio-E system. This is a Bio-E system in human features. One of the most famous mechanics in the game is Bio-E. Bio-E represents the mutation resources used to build the character. Players spend Bio-E to gain human hands, speech, upright posture, increased intelligence, physical abilities, appearance changes, mutant features. This system is one of the biggest reasons the game stood out. Players are essentially designing how human or animal-like characters become, or how human the animal-like characters will become. Characters can look very different. Some mutant characters may appear almost fully human. Others may remain visibly animalistic, strange, intimidating, bizarre. This creates a huge variety in the party. 2 mutant dogs might look completely different depending on how the player or players spend their Bio-E. Attributes matter. The game uses Planium's standard attribute structure. Characters roll attributes like intelligence, mental endurance, mental affinity, physical strength, physical prowess, physical endurance, physical beauty, and speed. These influence combat, social ability, intimidation, movement, durability, reactions. Because this is a Millennium game, attributes matter fairly heavily. Education and skills matter. Characters also receive education packages, occupational skills, secondary skills. This helps flesh out the character beyond mutant animal who punches people. A character might also be a mechanic, a scientist, a criminal, a drifter, a technician, a journalist, a street fighter. The game encourages broader character concepts. Martial arts training is important. Hand-to-hand combat training matters heavily. Different combat styles affects attacks, bonuses, fighting capability, combat feel. Characters trained in martial arts can become extremely dangerous in close combat. This helps reinforce the ninja action comic atmosphere. Equipment and weapons. Characters can use melee weapons, firearms, improvised weapons, ninja gear, street equipment. The setting mixes martial arts actions with modern urban combat. The combination can become one of the game's signatures. Yes, there are guns. The character should feel distinct. The game works best when characters feel strange, unique, visibly memorable or visually memorable. Strong character concepts usually combine interesting animals, personality quirks, combat style, urban background, mutation choices. The game becomes weaker if everyone simply tries to recreate uh, or tries to create similar types of characters. So in a way, it's made for the Ninja Turtles. It's called the Ninja Turtles, but yet the game, if you try to play to that, gets weak. It to me, the license is almost less important than the overall game, and that's why I said when I first got introduced to the game, I'd see people going at it. I'd be like, "Man, what game is this?" And they'd be like, "The Ninja Turtles." I'm like, I'm looking at what people are doing. Is it? Is it really? And then when you actually try to play something like a team that are similar, the game just gets weak. Though some people that were going into it, some players back in the day, they almost thought that maybe that would be the better way to play the game. Have a bit of variation, but similar characters like the Turtles. Nope. Game actually gets weak. It was almost like it's not made for the license in that way. Like the mutation's good, the martial arts is good, but you're like, well, is it? So if you played the four Turtles, that'd be awesome, right? Nope, not so much, which is surprising. The party can become very weird. One of the fun parts of the game is a group can become completely bizarre. A campaign party could contain a mutant raccoon thief, a martial arts rabbit, a mutant raven investigator, a street fighting alligator, a scientist hamster. Heard I just said a scientist hamster. That weird variety is part of the charm of the game. The character creation tone. Character creation captures the core atmosphere of the game. Comic book weirdness, martial arts action, mutant experimentation, street level adventure, bizarre creativity. The system encourages players to build characters that feel like they belong in a strange underground comic universe instead of a normal superhero setting. I do got more, but I just want to pause to have a little talk about some of this stuff. So the BioE stuff is where you decide if you want to look more animal, more human. That's important. As you can tell with all the details here, how you go about making your characters is very important. How players are going to see it. No matter what we think when I'm telling you guys about the game, my personal experience watching people put together their stuff in real life, it's weird. And it's like you guys don't know. I know a lot of my audience are guys that are really intelligent, guys that get common sense. They get where I'm coming from. And you would assume a lot of stuff out in public where you're going to go at games or deal with players. Get those assumptions out of your head. A lot of people do things that you wouldn't expect. And when people listen to this later, I know you guys get this, but a lot of people might listen to this later. And I want not to insult people, but just to say somebody who's taking a more simple approach in their thoughts about a game like this. And I want them to hear, do variation. Don't do the same. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very much so. You're completely right, Monkey. You could change the entire game because you're bringing range into the game instead of the martial arts. And yes, you could play more to guns. You could even have mutants with the guns and the cannons and get away. And some people actually did. Some people actually avoid taking the martial arts and will take other things. It's a serious thing about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. It's like that's why you gotta know what game you gotta communicate as a game master, what kind of game you're running, so the players get it. And so if you know there's going to be threats in there with a lot of guns or something like that, there's some hint of communication because you don't want players having an advantage against everything, but you do want them to understand what game they're playing. So they don't start making characters for one game, but that's not what they're doing. Like you're going to be dealing with guns or gangs with guns and everything else. These guys aren't like martial artists. Okay, well then some of the players will know this, and you can play the guns. But I've seen so many times that players, because they want to be so creative with the system, and you can be, their ideas compared to their game master is different. And a simple game pitch doesn't always tell people stuff. Like, how many players in D&D, you could put something in like you would hope that most people assume something. Well, they should know I mean this. And then game masters will get frustrated over the years. DMs will get frustrated because instead of players coming to them with what they hope the player is going to assume, the player doesn't. And then you'll hear alarms in the background. But then you'll hear a game master or a DM get really mad. All I can say is I've seen games where they've had to restart this game more than once. Where I'm like, dude, clarity is important in everything you do. If you get to a certain level of gamer, see, I'm being sympathetic here. If I'm talking to elite people, you don't have to explain much. And they would probably listen to most of what I say and go, oh, man, I don't need that advice, Stephen. I know you don't. The majority, this will be valuable to them. Even this little talk between things where I'm giving you a bit more explanation. I wanted to be free him with this stuff so we could talk because I knew some people in the audience would know this game. And I don't want to have everything scripted. I don't need everything scripted. I know the game too well. So, like, I just want to get some details where I'm remembering to say stuff because it's so important. But game masters, they don't do locations that well all the time. They think they're communicating something to players, and they're not. And it's not that they're not. I would understand it if I read it. But I would also tell that guy, if you're going to the public, most people won't. Alignment system was memorable. It was principled, scrupulous, unprincipled, anarchist, miscreant, aberrant, and diabolic. Yes. And most people ignored the shit out of it. Most players can't even play to the stuff that you put in front of them. They sort of get the ideas. Not bad. I find game masters were a little better applying it to NPCs, concepts, but a lot of it's common sense. I get it, though. It's diabolic. It's pretty straight, simple. It's comic book stuff. When you really think about what they're giving you, Monkey, it's comic book. Comic book. Think comic book, and you'll totally get exactly what that system is. It's good. It explains the comic book stuff well. It's like anarchist. So a player would pick anarchist. I'm like, do you know what that means? You see them play the character. No, they think they know, but they don't know. And sometimes the game master wouldn't even understand half of that shit. So I'm like, To a point, it's good to mention. I do got it in the worth mentioning part. So if I feel like I need to talk about it, I will talk about it, right? But I've seen so many people just sort of not apply that too well. That I want to give advice that I know is going to work for the people. It's again reminding people to be weird on purpose, like the bio points, how human you want to be compared to how human you don't want to be. The hamster thing I find is funny, but these ideas are more simple, and I'm trying to sell the game to somebody who's never played the game before. So, like Monkey, some of this stuff can sound a little uninteresting to you, and other guys who sort of know the game. But if you're new, if you've never heard, if you're thinking cartoon TMNT, then I start telling you about all this mutant stuff you can do, and like a scientist hamster, like really to do that, that's fucking awesome. Like just the idea. That's what sold it to us, right? I like how they tied in famous movie characters like Charles Bronson and Clint Eastwood. Yeah. You get certain mutants that could have certain personalities. That would be stuff like that. I know exactly what you're talking about. That was cool stuff. I liked it. Liked it a lot, right? But yeah, like a lot of people don't know when you keep talking about martial arts that the game has guns and you can go down a completely different realm. So when I said earlier about the Game Master stuff, is saying you got to set tone where you're thinking, well, how many tones can you set until I mentioned that the game has guns, right? Then they're like, oh, it does? And there is a sort of urban gang-style warfare type of thing you can apply. But the game does say don't go too real. Like that can lean you to gang, guns, real. You always want to mix the weirdness in because you're trying to get a certain feel for the setting, a certain feel for the game. And that's the intent of the designers. Now, it doesn't mean you can't play a generic game with it, but if you want to go based on what the designer wants it to feel strange like the comics. So for it to feel like the comics, for you to get that right, you got to always go, well, instead of just having the gang over here or something over here, you've got to have some weirdness happen. A report or something weird happening. You meet up with a certain type of, maybe the boss of a certain gang is strange. Maybe even if the gang is more realistic and human, like it's like going up against the normal enemies of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know there's some weirdness about them. They bring in mutants on purpose that you get to fight, like the Rhino and stuff, right? You got to apply that consistently. And if you notice in the comics, even the comics, it'd be less human showing up, more of these weird, strange things happening on purpose. So, of course, they could just give you a game about some of the stuff and you could be really realistic. But if you're going by the designers, they don't want it to be generic and they don't want it to be too real, right? Because though in a way, you could go to that tone. You could lean more into the real and be very serious in the game, dead serious, and go, we're going to get away from any form of haha. You can, and again, that's where you got to communicate it, because most game masters will assume communication in the way they set up the game. Like, here's my pitch. Like, dude, don't trust that. Like, they'll be like, why? I've talked to game masters plenty of times, even when they're doing D&D or any game. They're like, I'm doing this kind of game. You think your players are going to get it? They're like, yeah. Like, maybe one or two will. And they'll be like, come on, Steven. I'll be like, no, I'm serious. Maybe one or two will. We'll see. And then every time a game master would come back to me, go, fuck off. I'll be like, why? Yeah, there's some guys that didn't get it. Of course not, dude. Of course not. So they spent their whole time making a character that doesn't fit your game, right? Yeah. So you just got them sitting there for 2 hours making characters, and a couple of them made characters that really do not match what you're doing. Yeah. That can happen in a game like this, right? Okay. It's like, I don't know. It's okay to make the hamster, but what kind of game are you running if you're going to let the player make a hamster character? And then that hamster has to be effective in the game, right? So it's little things like that, but it's common sense, and it goes over guys' heads. So I don't know. Just saying. We'll focus on setting now. Okay, setting. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness is primarily built around strange urban comic book world inspired by the original Mirage Studios. The setting mixes martial arts, mutant science fiction, street crime, comic book action, underground weirdness, vigilante themes. This is not a clean superhero universe. Whenever I seen the language superhero in the game, I always found that to be confusing. But because it reminds me of Heroes Unlimited, and I could tell they were still maybe copy and pasting some of the language over. But they do talk about it that way. The world feels rough, dangerous, strange, chaotic, and still urban. One of the most important things to understand, the setting is much closer to the comic, right? So even though there is a bit of the setting you see in the cartoon, don't get it wrong. You really want to lean more into the comic. That means darker atmosphere, rougher violence, stranger humor, gritty city environments, criminal underground activity. The setting usually feels more underground comic than children's cartoon, of course. That changes the entire tone. It's important to drill on those points because a lot of people that have tried to play the game, when they're being funny, it's like, even in the funny part, I still say just be a little darker anyway. You're going by the comic, you're not going by the cartoon. The city is important. Most campaigns naturally revolve around urban environments. Good setting locations include Like I've already said, the alleyways, the rooftops, and all that, like underground labs, industrial districts, gang controlled neighborhoods, hidden dojo locations. Cities should feel crowded, lots of people around, so you want to not get caught. Dangerous. If they do go into certain areas, they can run into the gangs. You want to constantly be moving to avoid things. And then when you do go into certain areas like the alleyways, you got to be watching your ass. That's constant movement. So you want it to feel dangerous, corrupt. So there could be crime going on all the time. What's happening over here? A fight is happening. They hear about the gang down here. So you want it to constantly feel that way. And you don't want to slow roll the world. If not, it'll become slow. And then players are trying to figure out what they want to do. You want it to feel unpredictable as well. So when I say unpredictable, sometimes when they go into a place, nothing is happening, right? So sometimes it's not happening. If they go over to the next place, it could be happening. So it's a little, you don't want to always have action or threats going on in every location they go into. The urban atmosphere is a major part of the game's identity. So keeping them roaming the city or having a reason to roam the city is really, really important. Mutants exist in secret. One of the major setting ideas, mutant animals are unusual and hidden from normal society. Most people do not casually interact with intelligent mutant animals. Ninja vigilantes, mutagen experiments. That means many mutant characters live secretly, underground, isolated, on the edge of society. That will help create paranoia, hidden identities, secrecy, outsider themes throughout your campaigns. So you want them not living, they can't live in the fucking apartment, right? That's why the turtles live in the sewers. So you need to find a base location or location where it's secrecy on purpose. I mean, it doesn't matter how you sort that out, but you got to sort that out. Mutation and science fiction. So the mutation science is central to the setting. Campaigns often involve experimental chemicals, strange laboratories, hidden research, scientific accidents, mutation experiments, bizarre technology. And they'll have ideas in the game for that. The setting constantly mixes street-level crime with comic book science fiction. Martial arts culture matters. Ninja clans, martial arts training, and combat traditions are deeply tied into the setting. The world supports assassins, dojo rivalries, martial arts masters, vigilante groups, ninja organizations. This gives the setting a strong action comic identity. Criminal organizations fit naturally. Street crime and organized criminal activity appear constantly in the setting. Good enemies include gangs, smugglers, corrupt businessmen, assassins, black market operators, criminal scientists, as we talked about. The setting works very well with street-level threats and urban conflicts. The setting supports weirdness. One of the strengths of the setting is comfortably allow bizarre ideas. Campaigns can contain mutant animals, strange gadgets, ninja battles, comic book villains. Again, bizarre experiments are something you really want to focus on without breaking. It doesn't break the atmosphere. It helps create it. Weirdness is part of the world's identity. The setting is flexible. One thing the game does well, the setting can support multiple campaign styles. If you're not playing to one, you can run street vigilante stories, mutant team adventures, ninja campaigns, criminal investigations, street science fiction plots, post-apocalyptic mutant campaigns. The mutant creation system gives the setting a lot of flexibility. Now, I do make a note here, after the bomb expanded the world. Later, after the bomb setting expanded mutant animal concepts into the post-apocalyptic future. That showed the setting idea could grow beyond sewer ninjas, New York-style crime stories. The mutation systems were flexible enough to support entirely different worlds and campaign styles. The tone of the setting usually works best when it feels strange, energetic, dangerous, comic book styled, urban, action heavy. The sweet spot is usually somewhere between what I would say like mutant science, underground comics, street-level vigilante stories. The game embraces its bizarre premise instead of trying to hide it. So, when it comes to what makes it better, I'm not going to keep repeating certain things. So, there's some notes where I just don't have much written on it because I've already mentioned enough. Like the mutant animal creation system. We know. I went over it, right? And the fact that it lets players build truly weird characters. Like truly weird characters. The BioE gives character creation strong identity. The BioE system made mutation feel interactive. Players actively decide how human the character can become, what physical abilities they gain, what features mutate, how strange characters appear. That gave character creation a build your own mutant, feeling that many players remembered strongly. So that's one thing I seen all the time. Like it's one of the favorite parts of the game. It So in the game, here's what it does really well for combat. In this game, martial arts training matters heavily. Combat styles, hand-to-hand training, physical movement helps define character strongly. That gives the action a very different feel from standard fantasy combat. Though, what I have a note here is when it gets to the guns, it can change the entire game and feel. The setting supports creativity extremely well. The game rewards unusual ideas, strange characters, bizarre campaign concepts. Players are encouraged to think creatively rather than simply optimizing combat builds. That helped the game stand out. It really did. When it came to like certain types of like old rigid RPG structures, the tone is unique. The game feels more personal than someone's superhero RPG or more than some superhero RPGs. A lot of superhero RPGs focus on world saving, giant powers, cosmic threats. This one, the campaigns often stay street level, local, personal, survival focused, almost like gangbusters in a way with mutants. Characters feel vulnerable compared to many superhero games. That helps gives the setting tension. Not so much, but when you compare it to Palladium games, yeah. Okay. That's just notes, making sure I don't miss some stuff. That was the worth mentioning stuff area. Had to make sure, because I get so many notes that I just want to make sure I drill on certain things because it's important. Okay, criticism. It's the last part. It's just a silly Ninja Turtle game. A lot of people dismiss Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other strangeness because they only know the later cartoon version of the TMT. They assume goofy comedy, pizza jokes, kid-friendly adventures. That criticism usually comes from people unfamiliar with the original Mirage comic era. Defense, as we all know, the RPG is based much more heavily on the early comics. Darker tone, rougher violence, underground comic influence, street level danger, martial arts action. My little note here is sadly, when people watch it being played, a lot of people played too goofy. They did. They did not play to a lot of the comic book stuff I'm talking about here. That's why I keep drilling it. You guys might not have seen it, but a lot of people played more goofy than dark and violent. See, I can say this stuff, but you go watch 99% of the games and you're like, yeah, the game is made to be more violent and darker. The way people played it or presented it, not so much. Not so much, to be honest. Okay, criticism number 2 here. It rips off Daredevil. This is one of the most common discussions around this early game. People point to the similarities involving ninja clans, urban vigilante themes, martial arts crimes fighting, mysterious mentors, comic book tone. This criticism exists because Eastman and Laird were openly influenced by the comic culture of the time, especially darker street level superhero comics. Defense, TMNT absolutely started partly as a parody and homage material, but the RPG itself evolved beyond just parody. By the mid 1980s, They had already developed it already developed its own tone, its own setting identity, its own mutant concepts, its own atmosphere, its own fan base. The mutant animal angle alone pushed it into a very different territory from standard street level vigilante comics. The RPG was it so became its own thing that it inspires another game after the bomb. The RPG especially expanded the setting far beyond, like I said, simple parody concepts, mutant creation systems, original campaign play, custom characters, strange science fiction ideas. Criticism: the Plenum system is too crunchy. Imagine that. Imagine everything I've told you, and they're saying it's too crunchy. Oh my. Imagine what some of these people back then would think of games like 5e. Some players feel Plenum's rules system can become complicated, dense, number heavy, messy during combat, especially compared to a lighter RPG system. Imagine this. Imagine the games we have now, and this was a common complaint about Plenum. Just imagine what we have now, and this is common. For many old school players, because what they're used to, that crunch is part of the appeal. The system gives detailed combat, extensive character options, deep mutant customization, strong martial arts mechanics. The fighting was great. People who enjoy old school mechanics depth often enjoy this level of detail. It confuses me. It really does, because there was the majority are people that are playing 5e now. So a lot of the people that you think would be complaining about this, now, boom. Not even big TMT fan, especially since MTG cards and the revival nostalgia slop, shilling for it. But still, the game seems pretty fun and would definitely want to try it. The mutant part is the selling point. Like, you can pretty much not play the turtles. And most people didn't. Like I said, Drift, when I first got introduced to it, when I first seen it, like people messing with it, I'm like, man, that seems really cool. And somebody said it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm like, and I even said, my first comments was, oh, you mean like the cartoon? And he goes, no, like the comic. I was like, because I had one of the comics. I was like, oh, I said, well, that's interesting. But I said, but still, it really, I had to really look at the game to understand. It's really when I realized there was After the Bomb, which I do got a script for, rundown. I do got that made for. I get confused with what I cover, but yes, After the Bomb takes it, extends the setting to the future, and you get sort of a survival apocalyptic thing away from the TMNT licensing, right? But they do continue it. So what you're saying, Drift, is it does sound interesting. It is. Mutants, guns, everything. If you just take off the thing, there's some games out there like I don't like Magic the Gathering, which is what you're talking about here. It's going to sound corny to you guys. I like Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't like Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't like the fact that a cartoon is stuck on the game. I like the concept. I mean, not some of the newer game. I think the game after they got into the Champion series, right? I like the concept of that game. I'm not ashamed because I know a lot of older guys that played the game, so I'm not like embarrassed. A lot of people like Yu-Gi-Oh. They're not ashamed at all. And they like it because it's a good game overall. But when you stick the kids' cartoon onto it, I can see how a lot of other people look at it and go, it's a kids' game? Yeah. I still have my writer's bump on the right middle finger for all the writing I did for Plenum games. I believe it. Plenum games are fucking crazy. Crazy. Like in this one, they talk about combat can become overwhelming. I don't know. See, these are complaints from people that I don't think are people that can handle certain aspects. I never felt the combat was hard. It just, I got bored of it really quickly. Like after so long. Because I am used to games where the idea is you keep combat rare. And I would get, like, my players would get mad at me for this, trying to run this game. They're like, Steven, you're a great game master. I'm like, okay, thank you. They're like, but we're actually expecting to fight more. I'm like, but when I do the fights, they're awesome, right? Like, totally, totally fucking awesome. You're doing everything right. I'm like, yeah, there's just all these other guys are doing fights all the time. The game can handle it. I'm like, yeah, you want me to do more fights, right? Now, my fights got brutal. I did more, and they got their asses handed to them a whole lot of times. Even at one point after they made the request, I remember it was like a month in, they said, it's okay if you go back to the way you were doing it, man. We like it. I said, but I thought you wanted more action. Yeah, we got enough. They still wanted to keep playing the game. They actually liked the mutant stuff. They wanted to continue to see where it went because I made it interesting. It could, but to me, this is where I would agree with a guy like Max Liao. This is one game where I think the flow becomes important rather than just the speed of fighting. See, I like speed in a game like D&D. Flow too, but really pacing, getting it done fast. A lot of people didn't like the slowness, but to me, I could pace it really good too. I could speedily get through rounds. I know what you're talking about, Monkey, because I watch other people slow roll the combat, but I could run it faster. So that never bothered me. Same thing with Heroes Unlimited. I could run the combat pretty fast, right? So I can run combat really fast. I can push a pace and get people to roll dice quickly, explain stuff fast. I just know how to pace stuff instead of getting caught up. Like, if players are being slow, they know I'll pressure them. Yep, roll, man. You're doing this. And my players will just know pressure is on as I'm coming to you. And if you don't make a decision, here's me. Because this is my old D&D style. Okay, your turn, dude. What are you doing? I'm like, and now my players, if they know me well, they know, dude, you better say something or you're fucking going to stand there breathing air. And he's like, and a new player would be like, what? Steven's going to skip you. Like, he's not going to hold fighting up for you. So, I don't know how many new players just sit there and just go, I'm like, okay, you're standing there breathing air like an idiot. Next. All right, what are you doing? And the player's just like, huh? But I warned. It was all warned. It's not like the player didn't know. It's just I'm old school and strict. I'll tell you, when I get to your turn, have an answer. You don't? It's like the Jeopardy music's going on. Do, 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 do. You're done. Next. But you can tell me what you're doing next time, dude. Okay, that's how that works. And it teaches players in my game right away. When I get to you, you get so much time. Yeah. Oh, you didn't use the time well? Next. And it's not being hurt. It's not being hateful. I'm training players. Players know I'm not sympathetic to fucking around. It's not being hateful. It's just this is where I'm old school and strict. My players know I'm not fucking around. When I get to you, I'm going at a certain pace. You, as an individual player, will not control the pace of the game. I will. So once you understand that you don't have the authority to control the pace, that means you get so much time in your turn to say something to me. Then we can go into the action if you say it pretty quickly. You do get a bit of time. I'll give you your 10 or so seconds, right? 15 seconds sometimes. You at least come up with an answer, but you've had what? 3, 4, 5 minutes going around to other people, depending on the situation, depending on their actions, all added up to get to you. Pace is important. So is flow, but pace is important. Don't be the player sitting there going, as it gets to you, oh, I'm not sure. Well, you're not sure. Neither am I. Next. That's how it works. I don't know how many DMs or game masters I would watch let players control the pace of their game. I would say that's pretty much the end. I don't really got any more major criticisms. I mean, all the criticisms are so basic. Like the last one I really have is like, it feels less traditional superheroes because you guys don't understand. When I say some superhero RPGs, fans expect all this stuff because what they were told, if you see it when it comes out in 1985 before the cartoon, see, I go back to the criticism they got leading up to 1986. And The only reason I found those is because this is what the company's saying. I can't find anything legit from the company talking about criticism in 1988 about the game. Oh, how long did it play it? 1997 was when I finally checked out the game. Didn't really even know about it because I don't know about all of the games. I didn't get to it to 1997. And then when I finally heard about the game, I didn't even hear about it. I just seen people playing it. I'd already done some playing. I'm like, well, what's this one? And I'm seeing people make mutants. I'm like, well, that's cool. What's this one? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. How long did I play it? I ran 3 different games of it that year once I was introduced to it. I ran another game, I know for sure, the next year, and I know I ran 2 more before I would say before 2003, if I remember correctly. Yeah, like 2 more of it. So, and with different, like in the first year, most of the players that I ran for because they liked it were the same. We switched up 2 players by the 3rd run. Then I ran it a couple more times, again with a different group though. So that was different group. And then I ran it, I think maybe 3 times, 2 or 3 times before 2003. Because I remember around close to 2003, going in 2003 was my last run officially with the game. And these weren't long campaigns. They don't play out like that. They were like short runs. I would say the shortest one was 25 sessions. All the others were around between like 30 and 35. Not bad. But remember, I'm running sometimes 7 days of the week with some groups. So I run like a fucking machine. And this is when I go to work, I come home, run. Go to work. If I did morning shifts, I do the shift, boom, home run. And then you got to consider school too. So when I wasn't working in the summer, it was morning school hours, but I'd run at school as well. So it just depended, really depend. And they were short sessions, so I almost don't count so much. I run so much, like I'd run for around the hour dinner time, but then I run for like 2 hours after school as well, but at the school. And then I'd go over to the gaming group. We run different games. But I ran like a machine. So sometimes it'd be like 7 days a week. Like 25 short, 35 max is the max for all those games, which is a lot, right? But I mean, only so much variation. Spent fun times building Mad Max vehicles. Yep. I hear that. But I mean, that's side stuff I want people to learn when they go into the game. Like that's stuff you can somewhat do, but that really depends on the game master too. But when you go to the rules advice, there's not much out of Bio-E, which is about that part I have to mention because that part is about building up your mutant. The advice for the game master is really good because I'm not thinking about a person like you, Black Rose, when I'm talking about this. I'm thinking about people that might actually play it, and then I think about the majority of people I've seen try the game. And compared to what I said here, if you've seen how people actually played it, you'd be like, yeah, okay, that's shit, Jesus. Steven, like, I had to warn people. This is why I've done the videos where I said I stepped into the hobbyist part. I went to the majority. And when I first ran to the majority of people playing even D&D, it was the wizard was with his staff fighting in the front lines trying to fight orcs. Like, why are you doing that, dude? Like a wave of stupidity hits me when I'm going into the greater majority. They would even have mutants in space and trans-dimensional turtles, dare I say, TMNT-inspired riffs. If you count some of the side stuff, yeah, they did. Would I say it inspired riffs? Well, here's what I would say about riffs. Riffs was more like an idea that already existed, period. You can see it so much when you look around, right? So much that when I say that, I just didn't play that stuff. I didn't do some of the extra stuff you could do, like say what you're talking about now. And you guys know, if I don't play with that stuff, if I play from the core, because I only play with the material I had to play with, and I had a very limited print game of it, right? So I ran street level. I ran a lot of typical stuff, the urban stuff mostly when I ran it. And I did the gangs because you could do awesome stuff, but most of the guys I've seen do awesome stuff, they sucked at running the game. I was like, well, why are you avoiding all this stuff here? And I realized, like, yeah, you're going to let people do cool stuff if you sort of, at the end of the day, you're not that good at, I hate to say it, it sounds rude. It's true. Most guys sucked at running the game. That's it. And the players that came over to my game were some of the more elite Palladium guys because they really liked, they wanted a good game master. Beyond the Supernatural also had parts and riffs. Yeah. Riffs tried to cover too much. It can be like the Shadowrun to a point, right? It's not bad. But even if I go back to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, they had so much side stuff I could cover, but I'd have to really experience some of the stuff or read it more to actually do a proper write-up on it, which when I say I'm covering the game, that's why I don't want to mention I'm covering all this extended stuff. See, I know fans will know more about it, like some of the extended stuff they did with it, but I didn't do that. So you guys know I don't bullshit. I mean, here's what I could have done. I could have went to the AI and got and if I was using AI, I could have expanded that script and got everything for all the extra shit and just added it to sound very fucking super and impressive as someone who did the game. But I don't do that. I could have Cyberpunk. There's some of the extra stuff, not extra stuff, but there's some personal stuff. I've heard about somebody talk about Secret Service shit and all this. I didn't know that about Cyberpunk. I didn't know all the extended real world issues it had. If I wanted to cheat, I could have went to AI. Here, find me all this shit. I'll talk about it like I know it. But I don't. I only know about the fucking game. So I heard one guy said, I went and watched this other guy. He says, you don't know about the Secret Service stuff, Steven. That's what that guy said. I was like, true, I don't. And if I wanted to pretend that I did, I could have went to the, that's why I don't know, but like, it's like even cleaning up edits. That's why I made that mistake with the editing thing. I get to do what you call the fixing of spelling and typos, right? And show me any grammar mistakes. And usually you can put the thing in there and it will just do that for you. So I don't have to spend lots of time fixing a mistake after I put my notes together. It's like, hey, AI, can you show me if I misspelled any words, could you fix that for me? Because I'll get confused. I'm thinking to myself, and I might have missed it. Any fucking typos? Is there some grammar errors in here that can be fixed a little better? Show me, like in fucking little parts. Boom. Usually it just does that 100% of the time. My Horde Wars thing did the prompt, and it tries to not do the most of what I read out on that one was just normal. It actually plays out to what the actual game was. But there's some elements in there that were the prompt just didn't fix. It tries to rewrite some stuff. And I was like, just didn't realize it when I went to do the script thing. I thought it was just what I wrote out. I just copy and paste the fix over. I go, okay, I got to do the fix from that AI thing, but usually it always fixes my stuff. And where I start with the input stuff, it fixes all my edits. Now, I felt no shame in that because everyone uses AI to check out misspellings. Everyone's public about it too. So it's like, there's nothing I'm going to be shy about to say that. I'm not getting AI to write the shit for me. I go, all right, fix the thing. What I don't know that time is, oh, it does that. I talked to a buddy of mine. I said, fuck, well, he rewrote the whole thing. I don't think anybody really noticed except for one guy finally points it out to me. And there's some stuff in there that doesn't match. And I go back and read. I read my original. And then I read over what the AI does. And I'm like, so at the setting part, it's like, that's not right. I'm like, I'm reading over what I did. But I didn't remember, I told you guys, I didn't run the Horde Wars. My buddy did for me, and we did the Waves of Goblins. There's like an adventure you do where you're fighting them. And I thought that was the game. And to a degree, if you play that one, it is the game. But there were certain elements where it rewrote, and I was like, oh, so it didn't just clean up. He's like, no. And I showed him what I did. He's like, yeah, that probably fucked it up on the prompt. And I was like, what would you prompt? Because he's using this language. I'm like, he's like, yeah, Steven, I know you're fucking dumb as shit because you don't use this stuff. I'm like, yeah. And now my buddy knows I'm completely fucking innocent because he knows I'm fucking stupid as shit when it comes to most of this stuff. So I'm just not a techie person. He knew right away I didn't even know the language. He was explaining it to me. He's like, because I don't use fucking, the outside of, hey, could you clean the edits and typos? Which everyone does. I felt no shame about that. If I do the hard work, why should I feel ashamed about, like, here, fix the fucking typo for me? And just show me grammar errors. So give me a little note. And that would be good. So I could fix it myself. It would give me notes, like, under my writing. You did this. Oh, cool. All right. Well, sure, I'll fix that. That part I don't mind because it's my own work. But it's a minor grammar mistake. It fixes for me. I was told there's no problem using AI to fix your errors. It's like, yeah, well, I'm writing the fucking shit out. I did all the fucking work last year. And I did it before, well, people know me really well. I was religious about not touching AI anything until first time I went into it was trying to get it to do art. And I still didn't use the word prompt to do the art. Like, I didn't even understand prompting. Like, you're doing prompting because I'm like, that's language for this shit, isn't it? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're a fucking dumb son of a bitch, Steve. I'm like, I'm not dumb. I'm just dumb when it comes to working with AI. I'm done with a lot of computer stuff. Just not good with it. That's why people notice I take forever to get shit done on the fucking internet. They're like, Steven, you could do this. Like, I had one guy. I'd always have my playlist for my YouTube. He's like, yeah, man, it'd be nice if you had it turned into podcast. It's like, sure, if I did podcasts, that would be great. But I just do the streams because I don't know the fucking language. It took me about a week to realize, oh, is he talking? Oh, because finally I talked to a buddy of mine. He's like, man, I should do some podcast. He's like, well, you're doing podcasts now. Oh, no, I'm streaming. He's like, he goes, all right, let me check your channel. He goes over, he checks my fucking playlist. He goes, Steven, you can turn your playlist into podcast so people can play it on their fucking devices. I'm like, I can? He's like, yeah, you can turn your fucking playlist into podcast list so then they can play it on their fucking devices. Oh, that's what that guy meant. Yeah. Basically, I had another guy that same day, just before I was doing, I'm talking to a guy. He leaves a comment. Hey, I want to play it on my music device. And that's the guy is sitting there. He writes back and he says, I seen the comment. You can turn your thing into fucking podcast so people can play it on this music thing. So I'm like, okay. Didn't know that forever because I'm fucking dumb. Even the thing with sharing. I did the interviews. Now, I made the interviews members only now. But when I did the interviews, I didn't even know how to share it. So it would show the other YouTuber I did the thing with. Max Leal had to explain it to me the night I was doing the interview with him. He's like, man, did you do this? I was like, no. Oh, he's like, oh. He starts explaining it to me. I said, well, okay, I'll do what you said, but I guess I'll have to do it afterwards. So afterwards, I finally realized I could add him on to the thing so it would tie the interview to him. Sorry to admit this to you guys, but I've done this in other content. I've not much I can do. You guys know I'm fucking stupid when it comes to internet shit. I'm dumb as dirt when it comes to internet stuff. That's why when they put that fucking imagery seed out of me trying to rip somebody off, I kept calling it out, but then I hear people say, he's saying this, but it has to do with something else. I'm like, dude, I don't even know how to fucking, like, I know it's fake, but I don't even know what it's fake about. Well, at first I thought it was just me trying to rip somebody off, and then some guy said it had to do with me trying to sell shit at the place or something. Like, dude, I don't fucking know. I don't know this computer shit. That's why when somebody, like, people that know me, they know it was like the accusation of me trying to rip somebody off on the computer. It's like, Steven wouldn't know fucking how to rip somebody off on the computer. I don't fucking know this shit at all. At all. Period. That's why that whole receipt thing was the dumbest thing I've ever been accused of in my life, because if anybody knows me, they know right away, yeah, Steven's too fucking stupid to have even come up with the concept of ripping somebody off. He just doesn't do it. He's too fucking dumb to have done it. I wouldn't even know how to charge somebody, so the only way I know how to get somebody to send money to PayPal is direct. That took me a while. I didn't even know you could do that for a while. Was you get a link, and you can I put the link in my YouTube videos. But I didn't do that for a long time with PayPal, because one of my friends was telling me, he's like, you can get people to like send you money if they want to in PayPal. Like, how would I do that, dude? He's like, you don't know how. No. He's like, all right, fucking tells me how. That's how I get the fucking link to PayPal, so people can just, if they want to give me some money. The coffee thing is the easiest thing I've ever had, which is Black Rose knows about. Thank you, Black Rose, for the support with all the coffees you get me all the time. That was the easiest one I just set up, because it gives you a link right away. You put the link down, and then somebody sends you some coffees. Thank you, Black Rose, for all the coffees over a long period of time. I appreciate all that support. But that's the easiest one. I've understood how to fucking do the coffee thing. The YouTube thing freaked me out, because when they started doing the YouTube thing, I'm like, well, how do I do that? That's the first time I went to AI to get some help trying to understand the YouTube thing. I actually asked AI. All right, I'm accepted now. What do I do here? And the AI had to explain shit to me. The bat blue, but you're welcome. We'll call it a bat blue, yes. And people say I don't get no support from anybody. I've had plenty of support, especially here from Black Rose. A lot of it, which I love you, Black Rose, for everything you do for me. Really do. I know you appreciate the hard work here, but it's I'm just a hard worker from real life. I explain that to people all the time. Like, I'm a hands-on person through life. Like, I do things in person. I suck at the computer. That's why if you know me and you see my PDF work and my upgrading on it, which is just, it's taken me a hell of a long time with the game. The idea that I could rip somebody off for some event, like tabletop role-playing game event on the computer, was like, when I was accused of that, it's like, anybody fucking knows me. They know I couldn't do it. Like, that was the worst. Like, now people, I guess, that just didn't like me ran with it, but I was like, I sort of figured out right away. Everybody who knows me just said, don't worry about it, Steven. Nobody believes that. I'm like, oh, okay. I wouldn't know how. Again, I don't know how. Most I could do ripping somebody off is to tell them, yeah, I'll do something at an event. You can send money to my link for PayPal. That'd be about the only way I could charge somebody for something, I guess. I'd have to give them that send money link. Gamma World, I know pretty well. I do got that covered for sure. I did get that stream done. 13A stuff, yes. Unknown Armies. The Gamma World is my gimmick. It's limited to what I cover on here, because I only cover what I do know. Because people get so mad about pretending to know shit. And again, I don't cheat with the AI, so some stuff can be pretty plain. It's good advice. Like tonight was really good advice for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And if you've never heard about this stuff, for everyone else that sort of gets an idea of what the game is, I get it. For the few here, I know you guys will appreciate me going through it and pitching stuff up. Like Monkey. Monkey's not going to hear something new. He's just getting to hear the cool stuff, the hamster, the science stuff. If you go into some of the extra material, I'm just not that good with it, right? So I just, boom. And again, this is me proving if I really wanted to cheat and go to the fucking AI, I could make it sound so much better. I could pretend to know shit I don't know about it. Now, see, when I did Ruin Quest, we played a setting that was homebrew, and then I brought the setting that was homebrew. I do know what you're talking about. I just never ran. That's why I never talked about it. Hero Quest. I know I've heard of it. the 13th age thing. I just didn't know if it was RuneQuest or what you're saying there. I played in a homebrew setting, which ended up, it was so popular, it ended up on a thing. I'll have to get the name of it because you guys will have heard of it. I actually know the guy. Ironically, I actually played with the guy who had the setting. For real. Sad thing is, I did 70. Over 70. I wish my other channels weren't reported because I did the whole Storm Wars campaign. Storm Wars campaign was awesome. And I couldn't believe I got that online. That was great. I'll bring Trevor on. I will. I'm going to bug him to come on. He gets a little nervous about coming on this type of stuff. Did you homebrew gods and stuff? Yes. It's like taking their thing and home brewing because some of their shit is so fucking on the nose and it's too, how can I say, RuneQuest was criticized for this. So the guy I did, he just sort of took their stuff and changed it up. So it's exactly, how can I say, it is their world. But when you read from the actual book, it's boring. It's boring. And he made adjustments to the guys and stuff, which was way better. And the way he wrote his out, way more fancy. But if you go read it, it's fucking boring. The ideas are great, but when you go initially read the actual material, it's like, dude, could you stop preaching at me? It's a fucking game. That's what I hated about RuneQuest as far as reading it. So I'm trying to read it to understand the original game. And I'm like, this is fucking boring as shit. He wrote it in a shitty way. That would be my criticism. Now, the guy I know wrote it in a much better way. But again, I don't want to talk about his material because that's not mine, right? I did use it because I liked his changes. Did it have directional facing combat and body part wounds? For RuneQuest? Are you talking about like the changes in the setting? The setting doesn't have exact things like that. You do know the setting, right? Are you talking about HeroQuest again? The setting doesn't change these things. Doesn't change how the game functions. You know that, right? When I played RuneQuest, it was 1992. When I go over the notes of it, I forget every detail, but I have to remind myself of it the entire fucking game, to be honest. Because one of the games had that, I forget which one it was. Yeah, the setting doesn't change things like that. Do I remember all the details? Fucking no. That's why when I was doing the thing, it's like a friend of mine was asking, he started asking me questions. He's like, Steve, what about this? Like, well, I forget it. He's like, you're going to have to get the information. I said, I'm going to have to borrow the material, write it out. He asked me like last month, do you remember this about Rollmaster? There's some details in Rollmaster. I just said, I went in. I had a guy afterwards. He starts asking me details about the type of exact things on the tables. I'm like, I can't remember, dude. I can't remember. And if you think then that means I'm full of shit, go ahead. I don't care. I'm just honest. I can't remember every detail. I don't write everything out. Even in the combat here for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I had to go read about all the different ways you do parry and dodge, and even what it meant. It was like, Steven, you ran the fucking thing. I know. I still can't fucking remember. It's that many fucking decades ago. I can't remember everything because I've done so many different games since. Everything gets lost in my head. It's like even tonight, we were talking about the game. I was like, After the Bomb. I covered that, right? I did a stream on. I did a stream on that. I go check the stream thing. No, I've only done the aftermath. I haven't done After the Bomb. I have the whole thing written out though to do. I don't feel bad. I mean, if you talk to any of the other old timers on here, go see them on streams. They're very honest. It's just that some people hold me to a standard on remembering things that just is unrealistic. It's like, you'll hear old guys, I can't remember this. Everyone's like, yeah, cool. Steven can't remember this. He's fake. He lied. He hasn't played the game. He never ran it. He's completely full of shit. Well, dude, I'm just honest, but what? Let me guess. If I'm honest, it means I haven't done anything. You called me out. I guess I'm full of shit. Never ran the game before in my life. I can't remember everything about everything. I can't remember every detail about combat when I read stuff through. Even doing my notes up, I realized I should have added notes about the combat, because when I wrote some of the stuff last year for the Ninja Turtle stuff, I go back to it this time and I'm like, oh yeah, I had to go check the dice system again. It's 1d100 for the percentage rolls. I knew that. I was like, okay, is this the game where you roll against the d20? It is, isn't it? This one does that one, right? Had to go check again. Imagine if I was talking to somebody live, whatever stream, and I mentioned that, and I haven't went to check my notes, and they're like, so how do you do combat, Steven? I think it's D20 versus D20. The standard people will put me at, because they'll be like, you don't remember every detail about the game? Oh, imagine if I got that wrong. Yeah, I'll see all kinds of old school guys on here just naturally say, yeah, I forget what they used for that game. And he's ran it like fucking 20 times. But it's been decades. And when you run tons of games like me, you forget shit. It just happens. Now, I always hope fair-minded people are just fair with me like they're fair with these other people. But I know there's a lot of people that don't like me in the fucking on here. So it's like anything I do is crucified. It's like, oh, he made a major... It's like the Cyberpunk thing. I didn't mention this Secret Service detail. And because I didn't mention there's a movie, just not thinking of it at the top of my head, but it was a movie. Now, I mentioned the movie later. I think it's like Blade Runner or something related to it. I mentioned the movie later in the stream, but I didn't mention it up front. And I guess a person heard the early part of the stream and said, I didn't mention the movie. I don't know shit about Cyberpunk. I lied about the whole thing. It's all AI. Mention it later. Or I didn't mention the Secret Service thing. Must be lying. I don't know anything about Cyberpunk. I didn't run it. I'm all full of shit. I'm like, dude, I just didn't know there was a real life issue with Secret Service in the Cyberpunk game. There was. Had no fucking clue. Like, glad you know it. I didn't fucking know it, nor did I care. I ran the fucking game. I know what the designer wanted, and I understand the game really well, and Game Mastered it really well. Nothing I say is a lie on here. At all. Period. And I think outside of certain things, if you hear me talk off the top of my head, you'll know I'm not full of shit. I can't know what I know talking off the top of my head when I do talk about certain elements if I didn't do the stuff I'm telling people about. Like, give me the game. I won't care. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I might not remember every detail. Give me the fucking game. I'll read up the fucking things to make sure I got it. And then when I go to Game Master, you'll find out I'm a fucking great Game Master. Better than more than half the fucking guys you see online. I'll run circles around these bitches. I did 70 live fucking things on here. I just haven't done a fucking live play on this channel. This is my 4th YouTube channel. I've been trying to get players. Oh, he must suck as a DM if he can't get players. Well, here's the thing. When I go to recruit players, since I run, say, old school games, and it's from a certain sector, well, imagine I go to recruit guys, and all the guys think I'm awful because they've heard lies about me. It's really hard to recruit from people when they all have heard lies about you and think you're the worst human being in the world, not based on any truth, but a fucking lie. And I can't recruit them because of lies, not because I suck. None of the guys see me ever fucking run a game. Well, he must not be a good DM. Well, they never see me run a fucking game, so that can't be the reason they're not fucking joining. I pitch out the game really well, offer to run it for people. I talk to second edition guys who tell me, you lie and do all this. No, I fucking don't. What am I supposed to do? Oh, I don't, monkey. Just showing you my fucking passion a bit. But people say I'm shit. I'm like, I try to recruit people to get per game. You can't recruit. You can't be that great. how can I suck? No one's ever seen me run the fucking game. And the guys that have, there's a lot of YouTubers around here that have seen me run the game online. None of them are coming out and saying I suck. None of them, because they've seen me run it for real. I did over 70 live plays. There are quite a few guys here that have actually seen those live plays for real. The Storm Wars, the whole 9 yards, did them. Nobody complained because I'm a good game master. Nobody. The most recent thing I did was about 2 years ago, and I couldn't get the guys to do live plays. I even have a guy right now in Discord who played in one of the games. He's on the tabletop role-playing game thing. I did a few videos about the game. The game went really well. It's just those guys didn't want to do live. It makes it fucking impossible. It's like, guys, you've never seen me run a game. You hear me talk about this stuff. You would think people want to know, but here's what does happen. I had a pretty good group do it in private. But then there was last year, in the middle of the year where I went to recruit, 2 guys went to join, and these were guys that they were joining because I said, I'll do it live. 2 guys joined. So I'm like, I find out, like one guy comes along and he says, yeah, here's what they're saying, dude. So he shows me what they're saying. They're joining to sabotage my game. I'm like, well, why? Like, look, if you really think I suck, why not just play properly and I'll shit the bed? Because I did run some one-shots with a certain group. They all loved the one-shots. I ran it really well. There's actually 2 guys, on Discord that have played in my one-shot games. They love them. They love them with second edition one-shots. Love them. I did a great job. I'm a good game master. I'm really good. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just really, 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 really good. All right. So I know I'm really, really, really good. That's why I did the 70 live plays, because when you're a good game master like me, you're just not ashamed of anything you're doing. I was never shy. The Storm Wars was over 50 sessions altogether, if you counted. And I only did 2, what you call 2 sessions starting a campaign on my first channel. That got reported in lies, so that goes away. I finished that campaign privately. I started the Storm Wars on the next channel. I got 20 sessions done on that channel before they falsely reported it and got false strikes put on my channel. And these are TTRPG old school guys that hate me. Got my channel deleted because I couldn't get rid of the strikes, right? I go into the 3rd channel and I do, I did the rest of the Storm Wars. And then I did another 20 different sessions of just some different stuff, right? That was it. Like, it was it was probably like 73 sessions altogether. But I was really happy and proud of the sessions. And I never made videos saying, like, look how better I am than you. I just didn't do that. But a lot of the guys that didn't like me, you would think that was the live sessions was their chance to crucify me. Nobody did. Nobody. Because when you hear them, you know I'm good. So once you know I'm good, it's hard to say, yeah, okay, he sucks for the fucking things. Like, no, I don't. I'm really, really good at game master. I don't remember every detail, and I don't cheat. That's why sometimes I won't remember certain details, so you can make it look like you're calling me out. Like, again, that's the cyberpunk thing. It's not about getting to be monkey. It's about me being passionate. I'm just pure being passionate. I get shitty with people because I like to recruit for a game, right? And I'm a really good game master. In person, I got my games filled up. I got guys on hold. And if I drop the group right now, there are guys waiting to play. But that's because my reputation is not harmed in person. And the guys here all know I'm really good at this. That's why game masters in person listen to me. That's why over the years, a lot of my advice videos, if you want to dig through them, you'll see comments like, you saved my game. You saved me. I was going to quit game mastering. And then tons of guys that just because they know my reputation privately come to me. I mean, you can believe it or not. And they tell me, man, I was about to give up until I heard this from you. Yeah. Or some guys actually gave up the miniatures online because the miniatures were killing their game because it was too slow. And they didn't like a guy like me for years and years and years. It was just true. They just didn't like me because they were miniature guys and they didn't want to do theater of the mind. But they were doing gaming online, especially with certain things happening, so they couldn't get a group in person. It slowed their game down so much trying to do the miniature stuff online, they decided to try theater of the mind. So who did they come to? They came to my videos. They checked it out and they said, man, if it wasn't for your videos, I would have been fucked. Like my people were getting bored. The miniature thing was too slow. I needed to do theater of the mind and I didn't even know where to start. I was like, you're welcome, dude. But if I say that to around certain people here, it's like, oh, you're full of shit. No, I'm not. But I get why people don't always thank me in public. It happens, right? Or if I'm so fucking bad at even doing some of this stuff, look at how many guys will copy me. I hate to say it. You'll see guys out there with 8 and 10,000 subs. The other tabletop role-playing game YouTubers, when they're doing new stuff, they'll see me start having success with it, and then they start trying it. And you can tell, go check out their streams before. They're not doing it. It's like the connection I have with you guys. I have a great connection with you guys now, and doing this stuff, doing this chat, and it's fun. Well, I've seen guys that ignore their audience. They'd have a few guys on, they'd all talk to each other and just fucking mostly ignore and only answer a few times to a few guys on the side. Now, since seeing my shit, and I know they are, for the first time, they're bringing chat up on their screen, and then they're trying to have the personal bonding interaction that we have. I can't blame them for wanting it. It's fucking great. I love connecting with you guys. So fine, you guys get to see it. Go copy. Or I guarantee my wisdom about gaming and D&D. I've already heard guys doing it. Remember I've been telling you about survival, don't fight, and all this? Well, go back and check some of the old school guys, especially some of the bigger channels like 11,000. They talk about combat as a regular thing in old school. They talk about it like that's what they think the game is. Suddenly, in recent streams, suddenly they know more than they did before. And they're talking about survival and all this. I'm like, well, man, what about your earlier streams where you talk like you don't know shit? Or a recent guy who's done the video about story and like storytelling wasn't part of the thing until, dude, storytelling's always been part of the thing. Or social interaction. Imagine guys that skip the social interaction, yet old school D&D, it gives you negotiate with factions, you negotiate with enemies. It tells you how the merchant reacts to you, not based on a dice roll. It's not telling you directly to do social interaction. It just doesn't say you are supposed to do. It doesn't say that because they never do stuff like that in the old school books. They explain it to you. So they're explaining to you to do social interaction, and you do it in a variety of different parts of the game because, especially early on, you're not doing much combat. So you do a lot of talking. And it makes sense because when you look at all the other games that are similar to it, go to Traveler. Go try to play Traveler without talking in character. Go try to play the Pedal Throne game, which is from TSR, without talking in character, which is all made for talking in character. But suddenly, even though all their content talks like that's not a thing, since I started pointing it out, that's where I know guys are checking out my shit. Suddenly, they have the same wisdom, but and they'll talk like they've always had it. I'm like, no, you're a part of the majority that didn't know, and you still didn't know even decades after being in the hobby. And I know, and I've known for decades why you haven't known. So I can get on here and say stuff about D&D that 99% of the old school guys didn't even know to say. And I'm talking about other YouTubers. And I guarantee the copycat shit is going to happen. It's already happened where I say it, but I'm not acknowledged, I'm ostracized. And now you'll hear certain guys out there talking like they've known it the entire time. You haven't known shit. It's not that it makes me too mad, but I do get annoyed. It's like, why are so many people copying me, but they're not copying the guy with 10,000 subs? Go figure. All right, so I can't be all that bad. And that's just like I seen a stream the other night where it was two old guys and they're just casually telling you what they don't remember. And nobody is thinking, oh, you're full of shit. Nobody says that to them. Nobody says they're lying about their experience. I'm like, yeah, when you're being fair with somebody, you don't assume that. Like, I know enough about the game that even if there's a minor area I've forgotten, I can't answer directly. It's like, what about the rest? And then if I was using AI, for example, why wouldn't I do all this extra material on a game? I write about what I know, and I wrote it down last year. It took me almost all year writing all these fucking things out, right? It took me forever writing them out, and I only write what I know. I don't cheat. So I don't add shit that I don't know about. I just don't do that because I think it's dirty. And I know my fellow nerds don't want me to talk about stuff I haven't done. They get mad at people. I remember some guys out here I actually don't mind, but they'll do coverage of games, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. They're very honest. They're covering games I haven't even played or ran. Now they're covering it out of the books and materials, and I get it. But go ask them. Go ask some of the guys around. They got heat. They got shit on by the audience, by people, other YouTubers, because they're covering games they haven't played or ran. And nerds can get very picky about that. So what I do is I just don't, I'm not going to add something to this I don't know about. But that's to keep credibility with you guys. And then if I make a mistake, unlike other people, now, if another person came out and told you their error, and they don't have the heat that I have, no one holds it over their head. Or a bunch of the audience will go on about the background here, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll go watch some other old school guy that they like. And the background, like my background, is nice compared to a lot of the guys. The nice art, because I like video games, Grand Theft Auto thing. It's pretty nice. It's not bad. Even when I sit here, you only see like this back. I can show you guys that they like. It's fucking garbage all over the back of them. I'm like, well, you watch him and you like him, right? Yeah. What about all the fucking filth and garbage in his fucking room? Why aren't you saying anything? And if I am that awful because my room might not, like certain parts of my room might not be perfect, where I just scrape off here. Marks, I tried to clean a bunch of times, like 50 times. Guys would tell me, well, look at the thing. And I said, I know you're just mad about my tabletop role-playing game opinions because I know guys that you watch with garbage and you don't say anything. But they went on enough, and I said, you know what, fuck it. I can't clean it. I wash it off because it's old or it has these stains that I could wash it off 50 times, couldn't get rid of them. Still have the stains here, and I don't want to scrape that yet. Just I can't get rid of it, right? But I scraped this. I scraped off the shit. I said, fuck it one day. I said, well, I can't. I wash it off 50 million times. It's not like I'm a dirty guy. I'll scrape the shit. Okay, I'll scrape it. Fine, I'll scrape it. And again, my background's nice. Look at the fucking art and everything. Yet you see some of the guys' backgrounds, and it's fucking absolute garbage. And the guys that are saying about me, they'll go on their fucking streams. They'll be on the stream of the guy. I'm like, well, didn't you say I'm a piece of shit because of my background? Well, then what are you saying about that guy? That's where I think it's ironic, where I'm like, the way you judge me, if you're setting that standard, right? I'm like, what about that guy? Isn't he a piece of shit now? Isn't he this? Or they'll go on about me being a little fucking chubby, a little fat or something. Like, do you know him? All right, how many fucking fat guys that are doing content on here that are tabletop role-playing game guys that are bigger than me, get up and you can see their fucking bodies? And I don't judge. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But if it's an issue with me, why is it an issue with these other fucking 10 guys? Their fat asses get up and look fucking cruel as shit when they get up. Doesn't look fucking appealing at all. I don't see images. I don't see you saying anything about them. So I'm like, what's your issue with me? It's because I said something about tabletop role-playing games that you get pissed off about. That's all it is. That's why guys when they put the image out of the receipt, I knew what the heat was. Nobody cared about the fucking receipt. Everyone was just like, here's a chance for us to attack the guy that we disagree with about games. Because imagine, you can't really fucking freak out at me over a game and keep credit, especially if you're an older guy. And so all these older guys, I know they know the image was bullshit because it's not real evidence. If you're a decent human being, you would never attack a person or crucify or character assassinate somebody over an image that is not evidence. You would never do that if you're a really decent person. But if you're mad at me about a gaming opinion that you disagree with and you can't justify publicly freaking the fuck out at me, you gotta wait until you find something false. And then it's like it seems like I'm guilty. Oh, fuck him. Or guys will crucify me with videos for minor mistakes. I'm like, geez. I don't mind it to a degree. I'm used to it. But imagine if most of these guys were held to the same standard they try to hold me to. Think about that. Imagine if these fucking useless cunts out here that have no fucking talent, no charisma, can't get by in anything other than fucking Discord chatting on their fucking thing, attacking people. Imagine if the standard was put on them that's put on me. Every one of these fucks that fucking hate me would fucking collapse on YouTube and wouldn't have a fucking chance. They're fucking weak and they're fucking pathetic. That's why. They don't like that I can fucking put up with all the heat. You can attack me all fucking day, right? I'm going to be fine. And they'll put weak attacks on me too. And I'm like, I know why these weak attacks come at me. It's because these would work on you fucking losers. Not my audience, but the people that fucking hate me. Because these attacks would work on your fucking weak, pathetic ass. Right? But you can't, it doesn't work on me. Never will. Ever. 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 None of that shit will ever work on me. It's like I've been going at this for over 10 years, dude. I've been attacked 50 million fucking ways by everybody. Doesn't work. I ain't going away. Waste your fucking time. Oh, at least they'll focus on us and not attacks. I don't attack people either. Your fucking fake images of me attacking some woman who I went and talked to on Discord for a minute. And the most that happened with me and her was she told me how much she loved Fortnite. We were in a gaming fucking group together on Discord. And she liked a guy that was really mean to her. And here's what I said to her. I said, well, then you shouldn't talk to him if he's really mean to you. She didn't talk to me after that. That's it. That's how our whole conversation ended. And she never flipped out. She never we never stopped talking in some way. She hated me. She just didn't want to talk to me no more. I guess. Right? And I guess the admin there, I don't know if she went and said something to him or something, but to that gaming group, I got kicked out of it, but I didn't do anything in the gaming group. I got kicked out of that Discord group. Didn't know why. Tried to talk to her. I said, hey, I got kicked out. Sorry about that. Didn't realize, she stopped being the friend. There was no heat between me and her. The image that comes up later, and I've already said this, was because everyone's out here saying I attacked some woman. I had long hair at the time, and I had one image of me with very long hair. That's what I had on Discord. And I wasn't even using this name. So I was using a different name at the time. The guys don't even know what name I was using. You could tell because they put up an image of me attacking her with this name and an image with me with short hair. But I was like, I talked to her years ago, and it was me with long hair using a different name. Right? I know that because that's when I was going in those gaming groups, right? But everybody knows I stopped going on Discord gaming groups for years now. Everyone knows this about me. And only recently in last year or so, I finally did the short hair thing. So they got fake images. Here you are attacking her. It's me with short hair. And it's my name. I wasn't using that name. And I didn't have short hair when I talked to her, so. And it's just fake, dude. And plus, I only talked to her to find out she loved Fortnite. And a guy that she liked was mistreating her. And I guess me telling her not to talk to him was the cutoff point. Don't know. No, they have fake images and they spread them around like wildfire. So all the guys that can recruit right now, it's like, yeah. There's partly true, Craig. I hate to judge people. I hate to be that type of prick, but there's just a lot of fucking stupid people in the hobby. Let's just all be honest with each other for a second. I know that's not appealing, but I try to be open. That is true. That's what I meant when I walked out of the hobbyist part and went out to the open public. I go and I'm like, I'm just hit by a wave of stupidity. I've even heard a guy on a stream last week who's been gaming for a few years. And I don't mean to even bring up D&D, Craig, but it was an example of just something so stupid. The guy's been gaming for a few years. He's casually on the stream talking about having his wizard with his staff fighting in close quarters combat. And the guy in the stream with him just says, "There's your problem. You shouldn't have done that." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it was probably a problem." That was the wave of stupidity that hit me when I walked out of the gaming group when I was young that I was in. I went to the wider public. And I had to calm down because when I walked out, I was like, are people really this dumb? Like the majority? They really are. Unofficial Rifts, Voltron, unofficial Palladium, Dukes of Hazzard. I love this stuff. Unofficial Sailor Moon for Ultimate 80s games. Mr. Rourke, I don't know if we missed it, you attaching that to something else, but or if you're just naturally talking about mixing Rifts with Voltron, I love Voltron. Actually, in my Neo TTRPG system, I created some extra stuff for the modern game, which has where it has mechs. You can play with mechs. There are mechs for real in the modern game, and my games actually are really good. You might look at them and go, well, they don't always look like, I guess, perfect. But I did game test the Neo TTRPG system for 15 years. That fucking thing works fucking like a mint. Like anybody who has it that bothers to read through it and go to play it, you'll fucking love the game. I game tested the fuck out of both the Skullhorn and the modern thing. Like if you actually play it, they're fucking awesome. Everything works in the games perfect. Perfect. You can probably take modules that are out there, pre-made adventures, and somewhat use their ideas. You can make your own, though. I expect people to know some sandboxing. And there's some adventure stuff I put out for both games. There's a bit of a strange dungeon crawl that I created for the Skullhorn thing. You'll have that if you have Skullhorn. If you have both, you'll have all the modern stuff. But if you just had the modern, you'd have the island adventure thing that I have set up for that. Both systems work beautiful, and they're old school in the essence of it's a very simple dice rolling system, but it's not very simple at all in many ways. Both have a setting. The setting is less deep for the modern one as it is for Skullhorn. Skullhorn is very deep, but even there's monsters and enemies you can fight for the modern one, which is all kinds of enemies that you can play. But if you go to the Skullhorn one, I got like fucking 80 monsters that you can use for that. And look, it's not D&D, so it's more survivable. You definitely get more hit points than you would in a Dungeons and Dragons game. It's definitely it's not D&D at all. It's just part of what I've done is inspired by old school gaming mindset, of course, but I lean into the action. So no matter what you hear me say here, my Neo TTRPG system, it just leans into a lot of things, but it definitely leans into action. And it leans into action better than old school D&D. You can last for longer. It has lots of hit points for the characters. I have no shame because, look, D&D is D&D, and I'll do with D&D what you do with D&D. When I started making my own game, I just said, no, I'm not fucking Dungeons and Dragons. I don't care. The old school essence is making the gameplay simplistic. So I go to the basic movement stuff, like, like 60 yards. I stick to basic rounds. Very old school in the way of understanding gameplay is easy. It's really easy with the game. Really easy. Like, it's just not hard. It's not hard at all. It's very fucking easy to play Skullhorn or play the modern game. But they work like fucking mint. Like, I really have game tested them. I'm not full of shit. People can say whatever. They can leave fake reviews. My haters leave fake reviews all day. Go play the game for real. Like, just get through it. Now, when I improve it, I definitely want to clean it up and make it better explained overall. But the game as it is, it's money. I'm not ashamed of my Neo TTRPG system at all. It is fucking worth money. I took 15 years and went through changing until I simplified it down to this point where it is. I think the initiative rank system I have works fucking beautiful and perfect. And it takes a big headache off of trying to sort out initiative and understanding it. And it just makes it easier to understand. the whole dice rolling system. If you attack, it's D100 against target number or higher. If you use a skill, it's not percentage. I go target number or higher because almost everything you're doing is D100 versus target number or higher. So it's very simplistic outside of when you get down to damage or something like if you go to a spell and you're casting it, there might be a duration, like how many rounds it's going to last. So sometimes that can be a D6 or a D10. But I went old school. I only used D6, D10s, like D10 and D100. I kept it very simple. My mindset was old school. It's not D20. It's a very simple game, but it's not. I don't care about the dice rolling system. I just didn't think it was a big issue because old school doesn't. It uses a variety, but it doesn't really care in the way I guess other people might care. I didn't want to use like multiple D6s, and I didn't want to use exactly a copycat of other people's D100 systems. So I knew there was already target number out there, and they do it with D20. I was going, I'm going to do just target number with just D100. So the game is very fucking simple to play. But then you got the skull horn setting made for the Neo TTRPG system. You got fucking 80 awesome fucking monsters for that game that I made. Those fucking games are all in the modern game. Grenades, rocket launchers, vehicles that work, and I mean multiple fucking vehicles, all based on sort of picking up after an apocalypse. Not a nuclear one. So you're not in a nuclear wasteland. It's just a weird take on it's alien, right? And what it does is it opens a gate to bring goblins and whatnot into the world. So you got like goblins with guns and stuff like this that you got to deal with. It is cool in that way, but I added a bunch of extra material. Mechs to that one, but the guns work fucking mint and fast and awesome. And there's even guns in the Skullhorn one. And that's medieval fantasy. And now, of course, it's medieval fantasy because I'm inspired by the medieval fantasy I did with the Neo, like with my old gaming. So I wanted to give my take on medieval fantasy. It has its own take on magic. There's limitations to use it too. I thought that would be cool. Like you can't just cast all kinds of spells without, like if you cast too much magic, you can have monsters coming after you. And these are monsters that eat magic. And the second you cast too much, they're just like, okay, we know you're here. We're coming. We come from a special place so we can appear and start coming after you. Right? So limitations on just, you can't just bolt with magic all over the place, but you can do quite a bit with it. But you got to watch. And then there's even the psionics powers I put into it. I got a whole psionic class, psychic powers, and shitloads of stuff. Shitloads of spells, shitloads of skills, shitloads of fucking magic items for the game. There's shitloads. Tons of magic items for the medieval fantasy one. When you get over to the modern one, man, there's, like I said, there's vehicles, there's mechs, there's guns. The games are fucking awesome. They are awesome. And I get to play them for 15 years or run them for 15 years. I'm not trying to even sell right now. This is an honest take on the fucking games. Personally, I like my Neo TTRPG system. I made it so I'd enjoy the fucking thing. Right? So I didn't make a game I wouldn't enjoy. So even if I even said to myself, I never put this game out, I'm still going to fucking play it for the rest of my life. Right? Because I'm so addicted to it that even after my second edition, doing some unique games I'm doing, I still will be going back to my Neo TTRPG system group. We took a time out to play the World of Darkness one. So that group I'm playing World of Darkness with right now is my Neo TTRPG system guys. And they're waiting to go back to that system because we're going to go to modern. And they love the modern game because they get to play with mechs and everything. And the game works. Right now, I know Monkey got the medieval one. I know Craig has to, because I know he'll figure out how he's going to learn about the games. But Craig, I know you might not be the D&D medieval Skullhorn one, even though there's some interesting shit in there in that mindset. But here's where I think you will like it because it's sci-fi, right? In many ways, is the modern game, right? And you do have that, so I hope you learn about that. Black Rose has them both, the thing. So I don't care if you want to. And now, when you go look at the reviews I have, all the negative ones are all from people that hated me before I put up the game. And they even warned me. I have public warnings for guys. Like if you put out a game, I'm putting up a bad review. And what happened? I put out a game, the Skullhorn. The Skullhorn is fucking forever to read. Every guy that put out a bad review, the bad reviews came in less than a week. In a couple of days. I was like, you guys didn't even have time to fucking read shit. I tested this for 15 years, so I know you're lying and you're putting up the bad reviews so you can make it hard for me to sell the game. That's all it was. Just all bullshit, bad reviews. And say, because I went and got some spelling fixed, and there were some errors that I just left raw, right? Most errors I left raw. They were like, you got spelling mistakes in there. Yeah, because I didn't get a bunch of help on certain things. People would have cursed me out, so I knew to leave certain things alone. But I'll fix it over time. You know, that's what happens. You update. There's all kinds of games out there, even modern games, where there's spelling mistakes. I don't hear guys reading through the modern game going, oh, there's a spelling mistake there. They'll just say, well, that's cool as long as the game works. I need a paper copy to avoid migration. Craig, I am working on that. I don't know how well the PDF can be printed as it is, but I had a hard time because I remember I had to do this all by myself. I've never done a PDF before. I've never done anything like this on the computer. And when I started making the game all those years ago, I never really pictured working with a computer and doing PDFs. I just made a game, dude. You got to understand, I really didn't know. And then when I came to this, because I have no real connection with anyone who does this stuff, I had to learn from scratch on my own. I mean, when I say on my own, you guys don't understand. I mean, on my own, with no formal, I don't know the fucking lingo going in. Like, no formal help, no nothing. I knew nothing. I had to learn, like, even if I tried to get advice for how to make it, like, say, going to the AI, not to get the AI to make it for me, but, like, I was going to try to figure it out in the PDF, so I'd ask the AI, I'd do stuff, and the AI would explain stuff to me. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to have a problem here. I start reading what the AI is saying, what the AI is saying, and I check out videos of people talk about making PDFs. But when they talk like you know all the meaning of all these other things. And I'm so unaware of the most minor lingo that I'm like, man, there's so much they assume you already know when they talk. And so I had to write down stuff and go, what does this mean? And then just try like baby steps. Like, I don't even know what the most basic shit, like they're saying things where it's like, well, you do this. I'm like, they're using words to mean something else. So it'd be talk, but there'd be statements in it where I got to go learn that thing and then that thing just to be able to understand that sentence. Right? Because there's so many things that you just assume you know. And I didn't have formal education on computers. I've done a lot of work with my hands in life, and I hustle in life. So I never really had to work with computers or anything. It's just, look, when you're making money and living a life, if you don't need something, you probably don't put your time to it. And I'm a busy guy in life. That's what I mean in life. So I was busy gaming. I'm a very intelligent guy, but it's like, where did I put my mind? And then learning to make PDF. Gotta understand, I'm working every fucking day. I get home, I'm fucking tired. I have to learn and put some hours into reading. And then just learning, then trying to remember things, right? And I can sometimes have a memory problem. So I don't tell everybody my real life issues all the time, but it's just true. I have a memory issue sometimes. So I can have memory loss, and I have to then write certain things down to be able to try to remember things. I can't remember everything. I'm just reading and go. So learning the PDF took me forever. Every upgrade was amazing that I even achieved it. I remember my first was rough. I did altogether now I'd say 5 upgrades. But on my 5th upgrade, I finally realized how I could make it that you can copy and paste the text. I was like, yes, finally figured out to fucking do that right. That was a miracle that I got that done. Now, for you guys out there that might know a lot of shit, well, it's just that. I'm like, but you don't understand, guys. I've been out doing other shit in life. I don't just know that. And I had no help. Nobody helped me make anything for my game. Nobody. Like not a single person. My friends are all fucking busy in life. I was lucky to help had one guy, because he's been around for a few weeks because he's on vacation. That's why he was able to help me figuring out that I fucked something up with the AI and the Horde Wars. He starts explaining to me where I made my mistake, I guess, in prompting. It's like, oh, I heard a bunch of people attack me on the Horde War stuff. What am I supposed to do? It's an honest mistake. I don't use the AI to write the shit out, but there was that thing, and I thought it was just my original stuff. I got to do the fucking video. I used the images clowning around a bit because I just didn't care. The AI made up all these images. I don't fucking give a fuck. I'll use these. I don't care. It's not the game I play, but fuck, I'll use them. Thought I was trolling. Didn't know there was that bad fucking timing. I come back, boom. But that's why things aren't in my thing, and I would criticize on the most minor things. And I'm just like, well, doesn't that tell you that I'm not using AI? They're like, well, why didn't he put this in? Because, dude, I don't cheat with AI. You keep cursing me out as if I'm using it, but then I'll see real art out there or real writing. Like there's one guy a few weeks ago, he put up a piece of art, and even on Twitter or on X, if your art's AI, it will say AI underneath. The post wasn't even marked as AI. And people are like, that's an AI image. That's an AI image. And so the guy had to fucking do his best. It took him a while to get proof. But now some guys knew it was a legit piece of art. But there was a legit piece of art. There was one funny thing. They put up a second edition piece of art. And I swear to fuck, there were guys in the comment section going, that's AI. I'm like, no, that's from second edition material. That's a real, the fuck you talk about AI? Like that picture is from the fucking 80s. It's not AI. And when guys don't like you on here, it's nothing you do is going to be considered honest at all. Like, I'm a genuinely honest guy. I'm like really nice too. Black Rose, Craig, all you guys know I'm nice as fucking hell. I'm pretty like, look, I'm pretty brutal where I'm straightforward, but I'm not like a mean or bad guy. I don't go rip people off. I don't do none of that. People that know me just know me. And if you know me privately on Discord, you know I'm a fucking decent guy. I'm straight out decent to everyone. It's a disgrace that there are guys around here en masse that talk about me like I'm some really bad human being with some giant massive ego. I'm so hateful. I'm this and that. I'm this and that. I'm like, well, the guys that know me know I'm not that at all. I know, but fair enough. I guess it's content for them. But I don't get it. I get boring as content after really quick. I noticed some guys last couple of weeks, they did some streams on me, and you can see the likes. Starts off okay, because he usually gets over 100 anyway. It's like 180. Okay, then like 100 and 150. And then like 140. And then 130. But this guy should be looking for content that goes 200 plus. That's what you should be doing to grow, because his channel's not growing, even though he's pretty big channel. But he's looking to grow. But he's doing these streams on me where it's this. It's because I'm not good content, dude. And what would happen if you interview me? It's like, look at the Bloodworth stream I did. Well, if I'm that bad, I get over 30 likes on his thing. Even in a community that hates my guts, I get over 30 likes. Oh, I hear you, Black Rose. Just sometimes I don't mention names now, but it is disappointing. I just know there's some new people that come around that still get tagged up with that stuff. So it's a shame. They'll get around. They'll hear all the lies spread about me that I'm a bad person. I'm just like, dude, I'm not. I'm actually a really nice guy. I don't get all this stuff. I'm pretty strict as an old school guy, but I'm pretty nice all around. Some guys hate me in the past because I trolled a bit on fucking X. Look, I'm funny. I'm funnier than you. Sorry. It's like there's a certain guy, Ryan, out there. He tries to do these jokes on me. I'm like, they're so fucking weak. They're so fucking. He put a song with him, and it's like the song is in my words. I go listen to it. I'm like, that's pretty good, but it's because I like it. Right? I do talk some shit, but he put a song up. Here's him in his own words. I'm like, yeah, fucking good. I like that shit. I like the fucking song. He puts it out. I'm like, is that counted as an attack on me? Is that an attack? I'm like, he must be really fucking weak if he thinks that's an attack. But then, notice the same guy. I'll put a video on him talking some shit, man. He curls up into a fucking corner. Now, I don't do it no more. I even put the one video I did respond to him up on the members only thing, so I don't want to make it public anymore. But when I take these guys, they get really upset. I'm just like, oh, all right, because I'm fucking hilarious, and I know I'm funny. Well, that's how you got to know me, Black Rose, because I do talk some shit. I curse a bit. I foul language. But I'm also a fucking naughty Canadian. But Black Rose gets me because he has our connection with Black Rose. How he got over by the way I talk is he has a friend that's a good guy. It's his friend, a nice guy, but he's like me. He'll fucking use some cursing words and be a bit brute and forward with how he talks. But at the end of the day, I'm a guy that will give you the shirt off my back. Doesn't matter how I fucking talk. I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'm a decent guy. Like, fuck, relax. And some guys, I swear to fuck, the only other issue I have is some guys get jealous. I swear it's just jealousy. It's like, sorry, dude, it didn't work out for you on YouTube. Good try, though. Nothing personal. Some guys really are mad at me for that. They tried YouTube. It didn't go somewhere for them. It's not my fault. Good try. It's not your thing. But I've been nice. I've been told, guys, hey, come back at it. Keep trying. You'll fucking pick it up. Go for it. Be a little more out there. Be more honest. Honesty helps. And now guess what? I've done this recent thing where I've been very subtle about my change in my belief system. Here's what I guarantee some of them will probably say. I'm fake that. Go ahead, I don't care. It's not fake for me, but I'm not claiming to be something more than just, hey, I decided this is what I believe in this person. I follow that now. But he actually is far worse in his language than you, though. See, most guys that I know that curse like me are way worse than me. So I think it's just sensitive people on here. Sensitive people. I don't know. It's like, shit, dude, this is how a man talks. I don't know if you guys know what men are, but men that curse talk pretty straightforward and harsh. It's guys I've grown up with working all my life. I don't get it. Because every guy I work with talks harder than I do. I'm like, if you guys are offended by the way I talk, Jesus, have you not been out in the real world? Like, geez, go work with some guys for any period of time, right? And any real job too, not just some office job. Go work with real fucking people. Put you in a job where you got to use your hands for a minute, right? Like a real labor job, and I've worked quite a few of them. Put you in a real fucking job. Go talk to some guys. See how fucking long you last here. If you think I'm harsh. Every guy I know, every single guy I know talks harder than I do. That's like in the workforce. So I don't get that. I've never got, I do get you, Black Rose. There are some guys out there that just, they think you got a filthy mouth. I'm like, well, dude, I don't know. I'm pretty tame compared to almost every other fucking working man that I know. So that's it. And now some people like my cursing on here because they say it doesn't sound fake or artificial, right? Be told I swear it's like a punk. Craig's the guy who's more brutal than I am. I love Craig, though. I love you, Craig. Not saying that, no criticism. I fucking love Craig. But whenever I'm a little bit pushy back, Craig will come by and leave a comment somewhere. I'm like, Jesus, fuck, Craig. Like, your comment kills my entire video. I swear to, and I'm not saying that in a bad way either. I'm just saying you're so much more brutal than me, but a single comment from Craig can make you sit down. Right? I just did a fucking 20-minute video. I'm like, your fucking comments more effective than my whole fucking video. If I'm trying to give a little poke back to someone, right? He makes some comments where I'm just like, but that's probably why me and Craig probably connect, because I know he doesn't care about my life either. But yeah, Craig is cursing's just part of something I do. Something I do. Can't help it. Me being real with you guys for a second. I don't know how entertaining this is. It's hard to get a panel up because it's like every guy just doesn't want to. They all want to act like I'm fucking crazy or something. I'm just a normal fucking human being that talks about games. Like, I'm no different than the guys you're talking to. I'm actually pretty fun to talk to. Straight up. The interview should have proved that. I'm a pretty laid back, easy guy to talk to. And I respect guys too. Every time I bring somebody on my fucking channel or something, I respect. I'm fucking decent to fucking people. I don't crucify. And it's, again, some guys won't come on and talk to me because of the reputation thing. And anytime I get a potential interview, which is sad, I almost had that guy who made Axe on. But I'm pretty sure a bunch of people told him not to come on. I'm like, well, if you knew how to interview people, you fucking would have came on. Right? Here's what's surprising. I got a reaction from a new school guy. I don't know if he'll actually come on here. I'll say his name just because I don't think he'd listen to any of the fucking old school guys, because he doesn't. New school guy. I don't know if he'll respond again. I hope he does, because I said, do you do interviews? And he was like, yeah. And I had a chat problem on X. I finally figured it out, and I see that he says, yeah. So I messaged him. I don't know if I'll get a reply. If you guys ever heard of a guy from the new school, Nerd Immersion, has a pretty big channel. If he's willing to do an interview, I'll interview him on here. But I would, like my off-script talks and my casual talks, most of the guys around, I'd have them on the streams all the time if they wanted to, and I stream every fucking week. It's sad that they think so poorly of me, and it's based on lies, because be like, guys, I'm pretty cool. Like, if you were cool with me, you come on the stream and I'd shoot the shit with you. Just like you do on every other goddamn stream. I see some of the guys go talk to certain people. I'm just like, okay, that guy's boring, man. Come here. Guy's fucking boring. That's why he gets no reaction. I get a reaction. Come here. Talk to me. I'm way more fun. And I have a pretty cool audience. I'm probably one of the best audiences around. I don't care. They can say whatever. Oh, we got all these people on your live chat. Most of your live chat people are fucking boring and say the same shit. Either insulting or boring fucking shit about games where they barely know anything. I got Craig. I got Black Rose. I got Philo. I got everybody here. Monkey is fucking great. Whenever I hit games where these guys know something about it, they got stuff to say. Drift's fucking fun. Everybody's fucking fun when they know their shit, and they're all smart guys. They're all fucking nice. They're easy to talk to. Like, Craig can be brutal as fuck, but when he's cool with you, coolest fucking human being to talk to. Yeah, what I mean? Everyone else is pretty fucking nice all around. Philo is a little bit more straightforward than Black Rose, right? But again, if you're cool with Philo, great fucking guy to talk to. Fucking fantastic. Even Zag, he's been around talking. Man, that guy can go deep too. Another great guy, but he's more nice, like more nice in the zone of Black Rose. Zag's really fucking nice. Yeah. All my guys are fucking smart, and they fucking. And if we could dig in, I know there's some guys I could bring on that would probably be able to talk about some shit better than I can sometimes. And I'm like, just like, if you stop thinking I'm a fucking reject, you probably could be on the fucking street with me talking. I'm a normal guy. What the fuck is stupid shit? What are you doing? I didn't do a receipt thing, guys. Relax. I didn't try to rip off somebody at a fucking event. You could be talking to me. There was some Michael guy asked me a while ago. I won't say he's not even a YouTuber. Asked me if I can go on the Rumble thing. I just said no at the time, but I thought about maybe inviting him onto the stream. It's like, hey, if we can be cool here, maybe I'll do the Rumble thing. But I just don't want to drag drama around to other people's stuff, right? I can control the conversation here too. At least I keep dicks out of the conversation. But my problem is I just don't want to fucking go over to another stream and then in the fucking chat while everyone's trying to be cool and have fun, there's just like fucking 5 guys flipping the fuck out, drooling out of the side of their mouth, and lying, and screaming and freaking the fuck out and attacking everyone who says anything decent. I'm just like, that chat's no fun, man. Like, I want to go on your stream. I want to have a cool night talking about games. And the chat probably wants to have a cool time talking to us about fucking games. They probably don't want to be attacked. They probably don't want to see five guys having a fucking jerk-off session on your fucking chat. Having orgasms because they're fucking attacking me. And they were, I remember on Blood War stream, the guys that are attacking me, they lie, and attack people that were trying to talk. And they'd be like, this is great. I'm getting off lying about. You can't just have fun talking about the game, you fucking dillhole. Fuck off. That's why I don't want to go to another stream and just have a fucking, what could be a fun chat, just have guys go, we're here to lie about him and freak the fuck out and have our jerk-off session in your chat while he talks. Well, that sort of kills the fun gaming chat we can have while you're having a jerk-off session in the fucking, fuck off, you fucking pathetic loser, insecure piece of shit. And when I see other chats where guys are attacking people, it's like you're a bunch of nerd, insecure guys. You're fucking boring. You bore me. My chat's awesome because we talk about games, right? Their chats are fucking, we hate. And then the next week, I'm like, didn't you just all say the same thing in the same chat last week? And then you're all saying the same shit, but about a different guy this week. Then you're sounding like the same fucking chat the next week. You guys got anything intelligent to say about games or something? No. We're really dumb old men and insecure. Okay. Well, I guess you're really fucking stupid. Basic insults in that fucking chat. Nothing intelligent about fucking games. Bores me. That's why I like Craig and Black Rose and Philo, because these guys are fucking intelligent, know something. So when I talk about the games, it can actually add to the whole fucking thing. And I love these guys, right? I appreciate that. And I draw fucking intelligent people because I talk about intelligent things. Sometimes it's good to let off some steam. No, doesn't hurt, guys. I'm not mentioning names. We're good. But it does disappoint me because I think many of you would have more fun. I think you'd all agree with me. If people knew who I really was and just instead of being fucking jacktards about the whole fucking thing and they like, oh, he's just a normal guy. I'm probably go on his stream with him. Yeah, dude. Come on the stream. We could just talk like the panel thing that you do. I mean, some guys after my streams, I'll go over and I notice some guys will start up a stream after my stream and they'll be like inviting people on. Well, sometimes if they're not talking about games, I don't know all the topics. So first off, I don't want to join. And then sometimes it's just too late. I've been fucking streaming for 2 or 3 hours. Like, dude, I'm glad you're doing a stream, but I'm fucking tired. Last one. Thank you for letting me vent, guys. I appreciate that. I love you all. I don't know how hot tonight this weekend was for these two games. I knew they'd be a little. I knew Monkey would for sure like the Game Busters. I know he likes Game Busters. I know he likes TMNT. Glad Drift did. I think Black Rose and Craig probably somewhat interested in hearing about these games, but they're very simple games in certain ways. Just like Game Busters. In reality, I probably could have done a 20-minute video on it. TMNT has some interesting expansion stuff, but I don't know enough about that stuff to have wrote about it myself, and I don't have that material. I only have printed what I have printed. So, and you guys know, I don't do the AI shit. I played the Horde Wars and had the guy help me with that. That was about it. I do. I know some of these games were a bit more simple and some structure of giving out advice, but it is true that I see a lot of people get the certain things that are saying wrong and boom. But I know some of you guys wouldn't be interested in exactly these games. I knew Monkey would be, but I don't know how interesting it is when you know the games really well. Monkey probably knows a few more things than I do. Actually, he does. He knows probably what the expansion shit more than I do. The Game Busters is the exception. But again, the Game Busters is trying to turn that into a 2-hour stream was about impossible. In reality, I stretched it with some personal opinions, and by the end of that run, I probably got a good hour out of that without like my talking before and talking after. So that was hard to turn into a 2-hour stream or something. It's just not going to happen. So I figured I'd just work my ass off by casually talking to you guys a bit more before those streams starts. That's why I start 25 minutes early now on some of these streams. And when I know they're going to be a little light or I don't get so much to say about them, I'm like, I'll come and do some casual talk. The bottom feeder stuff felt pretty good because I have decided to classify all these fucking untalented people that I see on YouTube. Well, the inauthentic people, I actually think YouTube's doing a good job. So I don't care how much drama there is about that. I actually think they're doing fucking great on that. But I hate being a guy who comes on here. I don't do the bullshit. I don't do the cheapest material that you think of, meaning I don't attack people. I don't do reaction videos, which are it's mediocre people that aren't good at coming up with good content. I hate to pick on them. It's not like I'm perfect, but I have something they don't have for sure. And it's like, okay, if you're not attacking people and you're not doing a reaction, do you attract people to YouTube? There's one guy that doesn't like me who has over 8,000. If you go back to his earliest stuff, he starts off his YouTubing with just talking about stuff without attacking people. He never grew until he started attacking people. Go on the reaction stuff. It's just like I'm watching people watch a fucking video. It's like, what? Oh, you'll see people in their comments. I love your reaction. You're watching somebody else watch a show, dude. I don't know how that's entertaining. That's like the live play shit. I get it. There's an audience for stuff, but I'll give live plays more credit than I'll give drama, attacking people, and reactions. Because at least the live plays, no matter what you say, the ones that are doing good, it is based on their performance. You can say what you want about Matt Mercer, but is he talented? Yes. Is he charismatic? Yes. Is he doing attacks or reactions? No. Is he drawing a massive audience from being a talented guy? Yes, he fucking is. Oh, the mutant, yeah, the mutant generation ideas. Just even talking about them, I wouldn't even have to give you the details. I know you, Craig, and I know anyone in my audience that would take that stuff. Just take these ideas yourself and put them together for space opera, especially. You see, Craig, I don't know. I think here's the thing. I think Craig likes space opera and he even likes Bushido. He likes the one side of it. But I even think, Craig, you probably be one of these nerds that would get into the spaceship thing for space opera. There's a few guys I met. As much as I told people how it can overwhelm the game, like with the spaceship shit, there's a few guys, like I said, I know that if you give that game to them and they do it, they fucking love it. It's very few guys, but they don't care about tracking everything. They don't even care that it takes away a bit of the role play overall. They just rather focus on the spaceship shit. I'm just like, okay, sure, whatever. Star Frontiers, I think, again, that's another one you'd like, Craig, but only with the Nighthawk expansion. Because that's when you get into your miniatures. And it's definitely made. It's one of the few old games that leans more into miniature play than most of the old school games that are doing Theater of the Mind, and it's miniature play with spaceships. So I'm like, well, there's a reason to fucking paint old school spaceship minis, right? But yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, I can't see you playing, Craig. I can't see you playing at Black Rose either. The Gangbusters, I think you guys would play if I ran it. But that would be a unique situation where it'd be me running it. There's a lot of games out there I know guys won't play unless they know I'm running it. Like I got guys right now playing the World of Darkness thing that are having a good time. They tried it before, they thought it sucked. Because I just said, I want to run World of Darkness. They're like, so we don't like it, but if you're running it, we'll play it. That's, I don't know. Some people I just have a lot of credibility with. And the second they know it's me running the thing, they can hate something, but then they're like, yeah, but it's you running it. So we know how fucking crazy you are. So yeah, we'll fucking play your game for sure. I'm like, okay. And they get into it and they like it. Yeah, definitely. The one thing I know you would play online with me, if I ever got you to play online Black Rose, is a second edition. And that, I can run like breathing air, right? That's the one game I think I could for sure get into. Pulp, Era D&D. You know what? I almost think you could pretty much do a very weird, like I did these two on purpose because they're so similar in the pulp thing on purpose, like the city, the guns, that I really did pick these two to run them at the same time, which is just like I did with some of the other games. If you notice, I stick to themes like Space Opera, Bushido. You can definitely do that. You can do a gangbusters type of game with TMNT. Actually, I would even tell that to Monkey. You like gangbusters and TMNT. Are you telling me you can't take some of the city reaction, some of the fucking best stuff about gangbusters, put it right over to that game? They work together like fucking mint, right? And there's even like there's some aspects with the D100 being the same, so the dice rolling system wouldn't change. The only thing you really be adding is the potential mutants and fantasy part to it, but you can definitely take gangbusters and mix them. I don't even care that gangbusters is TSR. You can mix these easily. Just keep it plenty of. Just take some of the gangbusters options for the way they do the reporter stuff and the city reaction. Oh, that'd be so beautiful. That'd be so beautiful. Exactly. It's what these, and I did them on purpose. You could meld them together. You'd have to keep the Plendium gimmick because I think you can't really change because you got the martial arts fighting, right, and all that. But you can definitely take the city reaction and adjust it over. In the 20s and 80s, urban decline, prohibition, crack wars. Yeah, you could even do almost like 1920s mutants. You'd even go back just to the 1920s, just sort of lift up a lot of the gangbuster stuff over and just adjust a bit of the TMNT to the timeline, the world reaction. They'd work so well together. It's sort of silly when you think about it. So well together that it's like it's a marriage made in heaven. There's not too many things that combine well. Those two are a perfect match. Like there's so much relation to each one of them. And you already got the guns. You got so many elements already in. You have to probably work some ideas over for the Tommy guns and all that, but you could do that. Anybody could do that. Monkey could fucking do that, like breathing. I know he's worked on plenty. So if I just said, here, man, they don't got the rules for all this, he'd be like, all right, give me a few weeks. And we have gangbusters, TMNT, and strangeness, or you know what I mean? Like you'd have the whole thing combined. You could probably even knock it back to the 1920s, or like he's saying, like a 1980s urban decline. I like that. You could even take, you know what movie you'd want to fucking watch? Todd Browning's Freaks movie. No, but I 1932. I have to check that out. There is one movie I think would be a weird way. Imagine taking these two games, putting them together. I'm trying to think of the movie. It's a regular guy who goes crazy. I think it's around the 80s, and he's wearing a suit. And I can't remember the actor's name. I wish I could. I think maybe it was the guy in Basic Instinct. But he's like a regular guy, just a working guy with a suit. And he goes crazy. It's a very famous movie. I just can't remember the fucking name of it. I can't remember the name of it. I know you guys would know it right away. It's a very well-known actor. I think he was in Basic Instinct. I actually think it was him for sure. I don't know. It wasn't Marsh. It was somebody else. But it's a guy, he just goes crazy and it's, there you go. Thank you. That would be an interesting melding pot for the whole thing, like a breakdown. I'm thinking the 80s from what Craig is saying. And just imagine having like that type of setting where it just feels like the world is falling apart on you. Right? And you do have that decline. I think that was, as soon as he said 1980 sort of weirdness. Oh, it is. It fucking is. Fucking great movie. It just makes me think right away, what if you took some inspiration from that and you went gangbusters and TMNT? Holy fuck. Because as soon as you mentioned the 80s, Craig, that was the first thing I think you could meld those that idea together. That would have to be a sit down and fucking brainstorm thing right there. But you could do it. You could fucking do it. A breakdown of society where you're taking his view of the world. Like everything's falling apart around him. Society's fucking falling apart. Not that it really is in the way that he sees it, but you don't have to worry about the reality. You just take his view of everything falling apart. He's a normal guy and the world is just fucking mistreating him now. Like he's a guy who might have been from like the 70s or 60s or 50s, working guy, should be in a normal fucking straight place, but he's not. People are assholes to him. Everything's declining. The old culture is dying. Oh my fuck. That would be such his view, and put that into a weird gangbusters concept, city reaction, boom. And then bring some fantasy over with the mutants. That would, I don't know. I think you can get away with it. I think that could work together. But you'd have to have the 80s decline concept instead of the 1920s. And you're taking the decline in the way his character sees it. Right? That would work. There's your 80s decline right there. Perfect. Okay, guys. I think that's pretty good. I love talking to you. You know the deal. And I don't go away for long. So I'll be in the stream now. But there is Tuesday off script. Before I know you're all going to say goodbye, give me a second here. I think this one is the one I was telling you about, but I got to make sure the subjects are right. And the After the Bomb stream will be a bit more interesting. I actually know a bit more about that game. So that will be fun. Okay. So Tuesday, I got a bunch of stuff ready for this. Guns and combat damage. And then, here's what's going to be funny. I'm not doing casual this week. It's going to be Thursday is Champions. Definitely a different superhero game. And then the weekend, James Bond 007. Now, the next game is not theme-based because I felt that this is replacing a war game. Skyrims of Darun. Then the next off script will be Travel Pacing. And then we finally get to our members only on the 20th. And then we'll be doing our casual talk will be anti-D&D. After that will be Top Secret. Then we get to Ghostbusters RPG. And then we have an off script with modules and magic. And that won't be boring, Craig. It's not just D&D focused. Trust me, there's more than just that. Think of modules as a term I'm using for old school guys, but it's like a mix of a take on pre-made adventures and stuff for other games too. And then here's where his final bit is Paranoia, Toon, and then GURPS, which I know that's 3 of the games I know Craig is definitely looking forward to. I know everyone is saying, thank you for the stream. Yeah, cheers, monkey. I love all you guys. You know the deal. I'll be talking to you soon. I'll post something sometime tomorrow.